All right, all right. It looks like we are live. What is going on, BriHive? Welcome to our Saturday members stream, where we will have some members joining us live today to chat about some of the cases that we have on the docket. And as you can tell from the thumbnail, we have three different cases that we're going to talk about, and then probably talk about some other things as they come up. So let me know if you guys are watching in the chat, live in the chat, or on the replay. Where are you watching from? How is the weather going? And how is your Saturday going so far? For those of you who do not know who I am Boss Attorney Bree. And here on this channel, we cover celebrity lawsuits, trademark lawsuits, copyright lawsuits, and we're really starting to get into some true crime stuff sometimes as well. So maybe we'll add that into our little intro. So welcome in. I love to see everyone coming in on a Saturday. I'm hoping to have some members join me shortly. I think the order we're going to go in is we're going to do Girardi, who has a new reports have come out against Tom Girardi. He was a California licensed attorney who basically scammed his catastrophic injury clients out of lots of money. So we're probably going to cover that first. There's a report on why these cases were closed, what kind of not misappropriation, but I can't think of the word right now. How he messed up, or how the state bar messed up by not finding him liable for certain things, closing cases that should not have been closed. And then we're going to get into Alec Baldwin covering the Rust shooting, which he has a couple of lawsuits going on. I have an article from the civil lawsuit about how that's moving forward. And then I also took a look into the actual hearing regarding how the criminal case is moving forward. So we will probably touch base on that. Hella Swinky actually asked for that case, so hopefully we see her here today. And then we also have Brittany Dawn. We covered her on Thursday. She has a lot going on with her fitness influencer scam case. So we're going to take a look at some of the discovery and the way that she answered the questions. And so I went through some of the questions already. She actually responded twice and still didn't really answer the question. So we're going to take a look at that and see what the chat thinks about her answers. Do you think that she answered them good enough? Do you think she's trying to hide something? We're going to jump right into that. So before we get into that, I'm going to go ahead and say hi to the people that are live in the chat, and also hello to those of you that are on the replay. For those of you watching at all live or replay, please make sure to hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We passed 11,900 yesterday after I appeared on Law and Lumber. So yay, welcome to all the new friends that we got yesterday. And remember, we are on the road to 50K. So let's hit the like button, help us out in the algorithm, and hopefully we can hit our goal by the end of the year. All right, let's see who's live with us today. We have Lisa McKay saying, I'm so glad to be getting notifications about this channel again. I don't know what happened. Well, I am happy that you are getting notifications as well. Hopefully YouTube doesn't keep messing up with that. Ashley Hempel say, I won't be on the actual call, but I'm here in the chat supporting while I work. Well, thank you for joining and watching us live, and hopefully we can get some cool comments coming in from you throughout the stream. We have Tanya D saying, don't work too hard, Ashley. Glad you're here. Yes, of course. Tanya D saying, I'm glad to Lisa McKay. YouTube is funny sometimes. Yeah, I don't know what is up with them and how they mess up the notifications, but I'm guessing because there's like billions of people that use the app a day, they don't send it they don't send the notifications to everyone. Ashley Hempel says, I'm hoping not, but I'm training someone, so it depends. Well, hopefully they are a quick learner. Cheerful Bacon saying, hey all, how's it going? Hello, how are you today? And I forgot to say, all of these people are members so far, so I'm waiting to see some people in the background. Ashley already said that she can't come in. Tanya D is also a member of the channel. Cheerful Bacon is also a member of the channel. So guys, if you want to come onto the live stream and give your opinion live, the link is in the members tab to join. You just need some earphones so that we make sure we don't have any echo, and then turn on your video so that we can chat and connect. And then Crystal Harris says, finally caught alive, question mark. Well, we are happy to have you here. Tick Kim says, hey everyone, hello, welcome to the live stream. Kimlin says, hi, Bree. Nice to see you. Hi, also nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while over here. I've seen you on some other channels, but welcome back to the live stream. Mary Smith, another member of the channel, saying hello. Welcome in. Lumbe Bay says, saw you on Rob's live last night and had to catch your live stream. Well, welcome over to the BriHive. We are happy to have you here. J. Michael RN says, hi, friends. Another member of the channel that I'm hoping to see backstage. Hello. Welcome back to the live stream. Tanya D says, happy Saturday to everyone. Yes, happy Saturday. We are streaming on the weekends, which we do not normally do. For the new friends that came over from Rob's channel yesterday, we normally stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we're trying to do this monthly member stream, and it's usually around 12 p.m. on a weekend. So that is our schedule that we have going right now. We have Bless Mommy Four says, hello all, happy Saturday. Hello, happy Saturday to you as well. Witness says, hello everyone. Hi Bree, happy Saturday. Yes, okay, we are happy that is Saturday. Zan's tired is also a member of the channel saying happy Saturday. Hello. Crystal Harris says, Georgia started in the 30s, ending in the 60s for weather. Georgia got issues. Are you talking about just for today that has been the weather change, or is that just in general? Tanya, Kinlan saying hi to Tanya. Let's see. Zan Steyer says, did you see the Gwyneth Paltrow case? I have not. I'm not familiar with that. Deacon Fatal, welcome back to the live stream. Saying hi, Boss Attorney Bree in chat. Yeah, I haven't seen that case, but maybe I'll take a look at it. What is that one about? Kimlin says, hi to Deacon Fatal. Tiny D says, make sure to hit the like button on the way in to help Bree and the BriHive. Yes, of course, we are trying to finesse the algorithm, get some more friends, grow the channel, have some fun. Deacon saying hi. So my ganja saying hello to everyone. Hello, welcome in. We just got 2 new friends in the back, so I am going to bring them in onto the live stream. So we're first going to introduce Cheerful Bacon. Hello, welcome to the live stream. How are you?
Good, how are you?
1 second, I messed this sound thing up. I think the chat can hear you, but I cannot hear you. I did this last time and I don't. Let me fix it on my computer here. So
yeah, oh good.
I want to be able to hear your introduction too. So let me go ahead and switch that over. I think I should be able to hear you now.
Testing.
Yes, okay. I can hear you now. Okay, we fixed it.
Yay.
How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I am good. I'm happy to see you here live. Have you ever done a live stream before?
No.
No? Well, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun. So don't worry too much. We're going to touch on some of the cases once I get through the chat here. And then we also have another friend in the back here. We have J. Michael RN. Hello. Welcome to the live stream. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm actually on vacation at the moment, so.
Oh, well, thank you for taking the time to hang out with us today on the live stream. I know you joined us last time. Are you excited to give your opinion again?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, we are going to get started in just a moment. I'm going to check out a couple more chats, and then we're going to hop into the Tom Girardi. Are you guys pretty cool with that case, or would you rather start with a different case?
No, that's fine with me at least.
Okay.
No, I've been following all the Erica and Tom and everything. So.
Okay, cool. So I just want to make sure everyone knows the cases when we go into them. All right. So we have Kinlan saying the membership button isn't shown on your website. Could this be because I'm on an iPhone? I think iPhone is a little strange when it comes to getting the membership through YouTube. Hella Swanky usually drops us the link for the iPhone. So I'm not quite sure how to get the membership on the iPhone. Do either one of you know?
I know I had to go to my browser one time to join.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then just did it through my browser.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a little difficult with the Apple products, but hopefully we can figure out the link to do it soon. But yeah, you might have to go to your browser to get the membership if you're on an iPhone. We have Hella Swanky saying, yo, hello, BriHive. Hello, Hella Swanky. I am waiting to catch you in the back here. We're covering your case, the arrest case a little later on. Crystal Harris says, no, that's all in one day in Georgia. Oh my gosh, from 30 degrees to 60 degrees. That is crazy weather. Where are you on vacation at, J. Michael?
I'm actually in St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands.
Oh, wow, that's fun. How long have you been there?
We got here Wednesday. We're staying until Tuesday. It's my 10th anniversary.
Oh, well, happy anniversary. I hope that you're enjoying. I wish I was on vacation. Is that a
Yeah, we're having a good time. We're snorkeling all morning and we're taking a little siesta right now. So
Oh, okay. Is that a virtual background or are those the actual trees behind you? Oh, yep, you're outside. Okay. That looks beautiful. Oh, I hope you have a
no, that's
wonderful
not a virtual
time.
background. That's literally the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. It looks like great weather. It is raining here, and I'm just hearing the rain just fall, fall, fall. So I wish I was on the beach somewhere. All right. And then Triple Bacon, where are you coming in from?
Blaine, Washington.
Oh, okay. How's the weather there?
We're actually not too bad. It's partly sunny right now, but we do have the wind, so it can't make up its mind what it wants to be right now.
Okay, okay. Well, at least it's not the rain. The rain is horrible. I hate it. All right, let's see. We have Zan's Tired, another member of the channel, saying Gwyneth Paltrow being sued by a man who says she skied into him at a ski resort in Utah. She countersued and said it's opposite. Apparently, it's going to court. That is interesting. I don't know who Gwyneth Paltrow is, but I may take a look into it, and I wonder how the witnesses will come about there.
Gwyneth Paltrow is a very striking blonde, and if I'm not mistaken, she was on Charlie's Angels 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. I think I know who that is then. I'm just not familiar with the name. So, yeah, they're trying to get some money out of her. Let's see. Hello Swinky says to become an official member of the BriHive, hit the join button on the Android or desktop and drop the link for us. Yes, guys, because if you become a member today, you are also able to get onto the live stream and come and share your opinion if you would like to. So I am sorry. Let's check out some of these. Wait, hold on one second. Lady Autumn Sky says, to me, so happy to catch you live. It's been a while. My chat disappeared. I will be listening but cleaning, so can't chat. Well, I am happy that you are joining in and listening with us today. Witness says, oh, that's beautiful. Have a great vacation. Everyone wishing a great vacation. Lisa McKay says, nice. I always seem to miss the membership roulette. So congratulations, the people who got one. Yes, yes. And also, I just saw that Tanya D gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Tanya D, for gifting some memberships and supporting the channel. So we got 5 new people that can potentially jump on with us. Jackie Smith has a membership. M has a membership. Rare in the History has a membership. Just a Little Autistic Queer has a membership. And Pretty Mama Bear just got gifted a membership. So welcome to the BriHive. You get cool little badges next to your name, and you also get cool emojis that you get to use. And you support the channel, which allows us to do things like this. All right, so chat is moving pretty fast today, so I'm probably not going to be able to keep up with the chat as usual. But let's go ahead and jump into the Girardi case. And for those of you who do not know what the Girardi case, or I guess it's not just one case, honestly, it's a bunch of cases. Tom Girardi was a lawyer in California who basically misappropriated client funds and has been getting sued left and right. Bunch of bankruptcies going on, and a lot of his clients trying to get the money from lost loved ones or from their own injuries. So the California State Bar disbarred him. He's no longer a lawyer. And they decided to do a review on all of the bar complaints that was opened against him that were just closed and no action was taken against him, which is crazy because if you have been keeping up with him, you know he has done a lot of misappropriating of funds. So it's a wonder why he doesn't have any trouble with the state bar. So we're going to take a look at the, I don't.
And the big thing with that as well is on the background. His disbarment was not attached to any wrongdoing. He was deemed to be incapable of doing his own decision and was entered into a conservatorship.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually two conservatorships. There's conservatorship of Tom as an individual. I'm sorry, there's one conservatorship. Tom as an individual, which he then filed bankruptcy. And then his former law firm, Girardi Keys, was also in bankruptcy. So there's two lawsuits or law cases that Girardi bankruptcy as the person and the Girardi Keys bankruptcy as the law firm. When he was put into the conservatorship, that action automatically disbarred him
Okay. So he was disbarred
because if he's
not
not
because, yeah,
competent, if he's not
right.
competent to manage his own finances, he's not competent to um, practice
Act
law.
as an
And
attorney.
then
Yeah.
once I believe it was the California bar disbarred him, it was automated to the federal bar.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, he is disbarred not because of his crimes, which is what I'm going to call them, but because of his incapacity to act as a lawyer. So thank you for sharing that with us, J. Michael. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual bar's website. These reports you can find online through the bar's website. Like I said, I don't think we're going to read through the full reports because they're very long and we have 3 different topics to get through today. So we probably aren't going to look at the reports, but I do have them pulled up just in case. The State Bar of California Board of Trustees released today 2 redacted reports on its past handling of complaints against disgraced and disbarred attorney Thomas V. Girardi. And now, remember, they're doing these investigations because there were bar complaints opened against him, but no action was taken against him. So they hired independent attorneys to review the case files as to why they were closed without any action. But before we get deeper into that, I see that Deacon Fatal has gifted 10 new Boss Attorney Bree memberships as well. So welcome to all the new members that were gifted the membership by Deacon Fatal. Deacon Fatal, thank you so much for gifting memberships and supporting the channel so much. Let me see if I can find where your gifts went because I think I'm a little late. Okay, here they are. Crystal Harris is now a member. Lady Autumn. Sky is now a member. Witness is now a member. Kayla Eloisa is a member. Caitlin Williams, Karina Wise, Amber Lowe, Just Aaron, Ozzy Blake, Craig. Welcome to the BriHive membership, and I hope to see some of you popping in the back here. Uh-oh, I closed everyone off. I did not mean to do that. I'm struggle streaming. Okay, let's see what is going on here in Girardi's case. Let's see. We're gonna just go over the quick article versus the full-on reports at this point. So let's see here. Where are we? The first report was prepared by attorney Elise Lazar, who in 2021 was retained by the state bar to review 115 files of past complaints against Girardi. Her review limited the documents in investigative files, identified numerous instances in which complaints were closed without complete investigation or despite the development of facts warranting discipline. And that's where you can get the report. They have it highlighted there. And then the second report was completed by Halpern May Ybarra Gilbert LLP, an outside law firm hired by the state bar to conduct a wide-ranging investigation that was not limited to file review and included interviews of 74 witnesses and extensive evidence gathering. The May report details instances where Girardi efforts to buy relationships and exercise influence at the state bar at all levels likely impacted the handling of some complaints against him, causing those complaints to be closed improperly. Basically, that he was paying people off, which caused his cases to be closed. And what I meant to say earlier, but I lost my train of thought, is that these reports were initially supposed to be confidential and we were not supposed to have access to them. But the state bar decided to share it as being transparent to the public. So now we can see it does have quite a bit redacted. But let me tell you, these reports are long. I have not been able to look at the full reports yet. So that's why we're going to do kind of this brief overview, but I definitely want to look at them. So did you guys hear about this at all?
Yes, there was a lot of talk in prior cases and whatnot about the improper campaign contributions and other funneling of funds to members of the board of the California Bar and other people within the legal realm. In fact, it's been speculated and stated in multiple venues that one of the uh, improper relationships he had outside of his marriage was with a sitting judge.
Mm-hmm.
And there's issues with money transfers with that and whatnot. So there, the entire situation is completely mixed in, but at the same time, now that he's in a conservatorship, there's not much they can do. He's
Yeah.
already disbarred.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I mean, unless they find criminal charges, but then at the same time, does he have? Because from my understanding, it's primarily dementia,
Yeah.
so he doesn't have the capability to assist his own defense. He doesn't have. I mean, they can't do anything, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
they're probably not going to be able to do much about it. Cheerful Bacon, how about you? Did you hear about these reports coming out or any of the other improper? I was going to use a word that I don't know how to pronounce, but it's other misappropriations.
Emily D. Baker had done a post about it that she got the
Mhm.
reports and was going through them, and we'll probably cover it this next week, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm just hoping that they go after the people that were so willing to fill their pockets
Oh,
from his
yeah.
pocketbook, because the fact that he's able to pay people on the bar, the people that are supposed to be the guards of the
Hmm.
gate to make sure that attorneys are doing what they're supposed to do and hold them accountable, are
Hmm.
taking money instead. And so he got away with this for years because people were like, well, we'll just take the money and not do our job properly because that's easier. And I hope
And
that
Right.
they
from
pay
my
for it.
understanding, there has been charges against his son-in-law uh, in regards to the fraud, because unlike the case of Alec Murdaugh, where the law firm paid, they went to their own pockets and paid everyone else. There's a
Hmm.
lot of these uh, plaintiffs, because he was a plaintiff's attorney, just like Alex Murdaugh was. But there's a lot of these plaintiffs who have not been made whole. And the big one is the Rudy case and Lions Air, where they were awarded millions and were never, Rudy Gomez is the one, and they never got their money. And so there's that situation to it. And there's a lot of, like I said, intermingling. You even had a situation where the bankruptcy court in the Girardi Keys case, the law firm case, appointed a special master, or I forget what his official thing was, who was a law attorney who posted continuously on Twitter, and Ron Richards went after certain things, ended up being removed from the case, and then when a very expensive pair of earrings went to auction, he's the one that bought them just so he could put it on his wife and say, "Ha, Erica, here's your earrings. We have enough."
Hmm.
He was a
Yeah.
lawyer in the case, a prosecutor in the case, trying to
Hmm.
recoup funds and stuff, and then he's flipping around and buying it to mock people. I mean, there's just a lot of craziness on all sides of this situation.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. Let me get to some of the chats here. Tiny D says, why were they supposed to be confidential? Because technically these reports are attorney-client privilege. They did the reports for the state bar, so the state bar would have that privilege to keep it confidential. But as the state bar and they want to continue to be transparent, they went ahead and shared it to the public so that we can all know what's going on. It came to me as a California licensed attorney saying that they have finished the reports and we're able to look at these reports as well, so that everyone is kind of on the same page about pretty much what you're not supposed to be doing as far as attorneys, and then for the clients, what your attorneys are not supposed to be doing to you. And basically, they're basically having to accept responsibility that the bar did something wrong. They did not protect the I guess you would call them clients, consumers, which is why they're there. They're there to protect people from attorneys, making sure that they don't do anything bad to them.
You're saying the report is covered under attorney-client privilege?
Yes. So the
but
report
is not the bar. The bar is a public agency, which would be FOIAble, and you're talking about official proceedings of an administrative hearing.
No, so this is no hearing. This is no hearing. This is just an investigation that they did. And so the bar would still be the client to the attorneys that did the research. So they are able to give permission to then share the report. So this is not a report that's done just for the public.
Would it not be a public agency though? And as the bar represents the people, it is the people as the client?
No, the bar is its own entity. It's not necessarily the public. So, like I said, they would be the client, protected under the client attorney privilege, and they have waived that privilege to share these reports with us. Because that would be like if any investigation, like, yes, they put out the investigations regarding attorneys that have disciplinary action, but they wouldn't necessarily have to put out every single report that they do. Like if they're investigating like a specific employee, they wouldn't necessarily have to put those reports out every single time. So in this case, they hired outside people to do the research. It's not the bar actually doing the research. So those two law firms would be their attorneys and the bar would be the client. Okay.
Must be nice to have the protection. We don't have that with nursing.
Right. Sue Herman says, I like transparency. Next needs to be accountability. And so also with the whole attorney-client privilege, if the California bar gets in trouble by the state, they have to be able to protect their communications with their attorney. And one of these reports would be that as well. Of course, it would probably come out in discovery if they were to be sued by the state of California for basically not doing their job. But they would have the state would have to argue to get those reports if they did not waive their attorney-client privilege. So basically the bar is like, it's not our fault, it's these specific employees' fault. Let me throw them under the bus. That's what it feels like to me. Let's see. Sue Herman says, we already did that one. Zan Sayed, another member of the channel, saying, I'm confused about the internal investigation versus external. Did the internal still hide everything? I am not fully familiar with the internal investigation. I would have to look up on that. But this is kind of like a crossover to me, like when the police does their own internal affairs and then they get away with certain things because, you work with the person, you may know the person, and you try not to give us every single detail, give the public every single detail. Would you really trust the employees of the bar doing an internal investigation when they did internal investigations on Tom Girardi and no action was taken against them? I would say no. So I would have to look into the internal investigation, but it's definitely better to have some outside people looking in. That way they're not trying to protect anyone.
Well, I guess that's where my concern is if they're not agency of the government, so the State Board of Nursing in each of the states is an agency of the government. They're appointed by the governor. Some are confirmed, some aren't. So whenever we go for a license review, and it's all public knowledge, every hearing, it's all public, benign. So it just to me seems like the bar is being maintained in its shadow, and and with attorneys being, officers of the court and stuff, that's concerning to me.
Mm-hmm. Cheerful Bacon, did you have anything?
Sorry. I got Distracted off screen. Don't mind my ADHD. I did, but I've lost my train of thought, so we'll keep going.
It's okay. I'm sure there will be more thoughts coming in. All right. We have Witness saying it is interesting. Hopefully they don't all skate because he is declared incompetent, but it doesn't declare them incompetent. So hopefully there will be some action against the employees of the state bar that basically let Girardi get off scot-free. Another issue would be if they no longer work for the state bar. I mean, I guess they could still be held liable some other way, but it wouldn't necessarily be like losing their job. Julia 453, welcome back to the live stream, saying, I think one of the biggest issues with the California bar is not only were they supposed to protect the public, but had they done their duty, Girardi could have been held accountable before dementia. I absolutely agree with that. Did you guys have any comments on that comment?
I 100% agree.
Question is, if those investigators, were they also attorneys? And even if they left the service of the bar, they are licensed and they should be subject to disbarment and revocation of
you
the
can
license.
do that. Yeah, so most of the workers, I don't know if everyone that works for the bar is an attorney, but a lot of them are, and the ones that do the review, a lot of them are as well. Or maybe they might be retired, but sure, if they're still licensed, then it's possible that they could continue to be disbarred. Cheerful Bacon, were you going to add something?
I was just going to say I completely agree with Julia that this one of the biggest problems is that these people are supposed to be the gate, and he would have been held accountable when he could be held accountable if they were willing to not fill their own pockets.
Right. And I understand that he is older, but it is very convenient that he was placed under a conservatorship once things started really closing in on him. So I don't know if I truly believe it or not, but
and it makes me wonder how long he's actually had dementia.
Right.
Because I know from my experience with my grandma, and she had Alzheimer's, it's not a sudden thing. It's not suddenly it's gone. It's over time they start to lose some grip. They start to lose memories and aspects that they're just not connecting with. And so I'm wondering how much of this is also a cover up of how much he's been losing his mind. People in the back end taking advantage of him. I mean, he's still accountable, but the fact of, he's got dementia, he's not going to really notice what we're taking as well as what he probably just writes checks and doesn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Well, there's multiple forms of dementia, and the reporting from his case, I have not seen medical records or anything like that, but the reporting is that his was from a traffic accident, which there is traumatic induced dementia, and it can be significant and sudden. There's also dementia from acquired brain injury, traumatic brain injury, and other forms. So it's not outside of the medical possibilities of sudden onset dementia.
Yeah, and then we have Deacon Fatal saying, what's the difference between LLC and LLP? LLC is a limited liability company, and then LLP is a limited liability partnership. The difference is most of the time when you're looking at an LLP, it's some type of professional organization, and then an LLC is other types of businesses. Both of them limit your liability, but when there's, for instance, attorneys, they're LLPs because they're limited their liability to their other partner. I think that works for other professions as well, but LLCs are, you generally see people with smaller businesses using the LLC, but not necessarily trying to protect themselves from a partner. In California, attorneys cannot use LLCs, and I know in some other states, attorneys cannot use, or attorneys and other professionals cannot use LLCs. So that's why you see LLP with law firms in California.
And you'll see that with medical people as well. And what it is the actual provider practice is separate. They're a partnership in that they share secretaries and buildings, but they're not corporately the same.
Okay, and then Deacon Fatal said that it's giving Murdoch vibes. Julia 4543 says, I was willing to believe the dementia a little more before Jay Edelson made me question it a little more. I don't know if I ever really questioned it until now, but I guess now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, it's a little convenient, I would say. Let's go back into the article. Together, the two reports provide a clear and comprehensive review of how Girardi's unethical and unacceptable behavior went unchecked for so long and reveals systemic organizational dysfunction that persisted for many years and through many changes of leadership. Importantly, none of the individuals whose unethical behavior is detailed in the May report are still affiliated or employed by the state bar in any capacity. So there we have it. They are not employed by the state bar anymore. So they are basically trying to ensure, in my opinion, ensure the public that you don't have to worry about any more of this unethicalness because these people no longer work here. But it makes you wonder, like, how many people are still working there that maybe were trained by these people that are no longer working there, or that have the same kind of corrupt mindset as the people that's not working there anymore. So let's see what else. To ensure that what happened in the Girardi matter never happens again, we commissioned unflinching investigations by outside experts who making the result. Our experts are making the results public to the extent we can legally do so and are addressing the findings comprehensively. The chair of the State Bar Board of Trustees said, while none of the individuals named in the May report are still at the state bar, the magnitude and duration of the transgressions reveal persistent institutional failure and a shocking past culture of unethical and unacceptable behavior. In recent years, we have put in place many safeguards that serve both to prevent unethical and corrupt behavior and, if it does occur, to catch and address it quickly. That work continues. Providing this disclosure is a necessary step to demonstrate our commitment to transparency and accountability and restore trust in the public. I don't know if I'm all the way convinced by that. It's almost like, well, they no longer work here, so we're taking accountability, but, it's not happening anymore because those people no longer work here. Do you guys have any thoughts on those statements?
It sounds like they're passing the buck, and there's going to be no true structural systemic changes and alterations. And I mean, if they're like I was saying before, if they're completely separate, I would like to see the state step up and codify them as a state agency, like so many other licensing boards are. Because there needs to be an aspect of check and balance from the people's representatives in the House and the California Assembly controlling them. Because if they're doing this stuff willy-nilly, there needs to be a mechanism to change things. Mm-hmm. And if that needs to be legislative, it needs to be legislative.
All right. And we have another friend in the backstage. We have Marianne Williams. Welcome to the live stream. Nice to see you here live. How are you?
I'm good. How is everybody?
Good. I am good. Where are you watching from? Or now you're live. Where are you live from?
I live in Pahrump, so it's about 60 miles west of Las Vegas.
Oh, fun. Well, is the weather good there?
It is today.
Yeah. Okay. That is good. Is it normally not very good weather there?
Well, it's been winter, which is weird because we've had weather. Or it's, put your head in a 400-degree oven and it's all the same.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that you joined us live. Have you been keeping up with the Girardi case and the state bar actions against him at all?
A little bit. I saw some of Emily's posts, and it's all just wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wrong.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think it's a good thing that they're doing the investigation, but it almost seems like they're not going to really do too much to fix it because they're saying that the employees no longer work there. The ones that allowed it to happen no longer work there.
Yeah, but can't they still do something to those that did work there, to their licenses? And I mean, it doesn't matter that they're not at that firm anymore. They still should not be able to practice law.
Right. And so if they're attorneys, and I don't know if all of the investigators on his what do you call it? The disciplinary actions against him, I don't know if they were all attorneys. I would assume so. And if they are still licensed, then of course, yes, disbar them. But depending on how long they stopped working there, and if they were there when Girardi was early on in his career, maybe they're already not practicing as lawyers. So I'm wondering what other actions they can take against them if they are no longer licensed as attorneys already and no longer working for the bar. And I just haven't done the research into that to see what other actions can be taken against them.
Yeah, well, I would imagine, couldn't there be civil suits though, if they're found that they were complicit?
That's what I would assume, but I don't know exactly what kind of civil suits that they can bring.
Yeah, it's just a shame that. Go ahead.
That pulls back to if they were a public agency, then it would be criminal charges of malfeasance in office.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because that's the thing. If it was a state board of nursing investigated, all state boards of nursing are public employees. They could be criminally charged for malfeasance of office.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so I know Cheerful Bacon has to go in a little bit, so I wanted to get her opinion on what we just read about them saying no one works there anymore, and what she thinks is going to happen.
I'm sorry, it's PR. It feels like PR on paper. It's, hey, look, we did this thing. See, we're good people. And it's like, okay, but what are you going to do to change it, prevent it in the future? How do we know that you don't have more people that are there that just didn't come forward or get caught that are involved in this or doing things behind the scenes? So it just felt like definitely be happy at us again. See, I can do good things kind of a vibe for me, but I do have to go. So thanks for letting me in, and I'll catch this on the replay.
Okay, thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day. All righty, let's get back. Well, let me get into the chat because I haven't read a couple of those in a little while. So let's check it out. We have Sue Herman saying, what happens to the people who tried to push the investigation and were fired? Is anything being done to compensate them? I don't know enough facts about that. If people were fired for, trying to uphold the investigation, I would assume there are higher ups of people that conduct the investigations, and if they say it's time to close it, then that's when it's closed. But I don't know enough facts on if there were people that got fired for trying to do the investigations. Do either one of you know about that? No? Okay, let's go on to the next one.
I don't know if there was anything specific about that mentioned anywhere. And with them not being a public agency, I don't even believe Whistleblower Protection Act would apply to them.
Well, they are a public agency, but they're just separate from the state of California. So they're their own entity. So let's see here. Hella Swanky says, oh, yeah, I'll be there when we start covering Rust case with which I'm familiar. Okay, well, we'll see you soon. Julia543 says Jay Elderson is the Chicago attorney who was also counsel on the Lion Air crash and told the judge the clients were still not paid. The California bar response to him in 2020 was so shady. I don't remember the response, but I do remember Elderson bringing an action against them for, I don't think his firm was paid either, if I'm not mistaken. Right. He was not paid for his work, and then also the clients were not being paid. And then that looks bad on him because they're working with Girardi Keese as partners here to get the lawsuit, and their clients are not getting money. Girardi Keese clients are not getting money. So it just all looks bad altogether.
In that case, the Lion Air case was tried in Illinois. And Jay Edelson, PC, was the local attorney at the Pro Hockey That's local, right? The Pro BJ?
Yeah. Well,
For
I'm
that
sorry.
case. Pro BJ, would that been the local attorney or is that the external attorney?
I'm not sure. I'm not all the way familiar.
So Jay Allison was the local attorney who grouped up with Girardi Keith for that case because Girardi Keith did not practice in Illinois.
Oh, okay. Lambe Bay says this whole case has just been a bunch of people saying wasn't me, it was someone else. Yeah, that's what's going on with the state bar apparently, and also in Girardi Keys. Witness says it's nothing, so the laws apply. So no laws apply. That's what it's feeling like, right? Tanya D says, if you haven't hit the like button already, take a sec to do so. Yes, of course, guys, if you're watching live or on the replay and you haven't hit the like button already, please do help us out in the algorithm so we can get some new friends and so that we can, reach our goals for streaming in 2023. All right, let's see what is going on. There's a little bit more of this article that I want to get through, and then we'll probably move over to Rust in a moment here. So let's see. Where did I go? I went down too far. Okay. During the 16-month investigation, May and his team reviewed over 950,000 documents. That is ridiculous. Issued 23 subpoenas and interviewed either voluntarily or under compulsion 74 witnesses. The May report indicates that Girardi intentionally cultivated relationships at many levels of the state bar to increase his influence in the agency. The report outlines several instances of past state bar staff exercising poor judgment, ignoring or poorly handling conflicts of interest, and otherwise behaving unethically. None of the individuals identified as engaging in unethical conduct remain affiliated with or employed by the state bar. And they easily could have just fired them at the time that this report came out. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm fully on board with the state bar at this point. Okay.
But couldn't the state bar have done something the first complaint, if not the second or third or 10th, maybe?
Yeah. So there are several reports or several actions brought against him, which the state bar closed. A lot of times it's hard for the clients to basically win on a state bar complaint because there's not enough evidence to show that the attorney is doing something wrong. But in Girardi Keys' situation, there's a lot of evidence to show that they are doing something wrong, but it's looking like he was just paying people off to the point where they just never really investigated him to find out the things that he were doing wrong. So if these people stopped working years ago, sure, but it's also a possibility that they stopped working here as this report was being drafted, or even after they got the report back from the other attorneys, and they're just saying, well, they no longer work here anymore, so it's no longer the state bar's issue. That's what it feels like to me. All right, let's see here. Some of the things that Tom Girardi did was former state bar employee Tom Layton, they put his name out there, who was terminated in 2015, and his wife received gifts and payments estimated over $1 million from Girardi through his firm, while Layton was employed at the state bar. Those payments and gifts were never properly disclosed. Yeah, that's bribery for sure. $1 million. And you can't just say, oh, that's my friend, because I'm not giving my friends $1 million. I'm not going to give my friends $1 million. And then he's doing it out of the business, which is, again, inappropriate. If he was doing it as himself individually, it may not be as appropriate. Yes, still inappropriate because he's trying to build that relationship. But directly from the law firm, that's very, very inappropriate. Other state bar employees and board members accepted and failed to report gifts and other items of value from Girardi. Relatives of staff members were employed by Girardi's firm, so he was giving people jobs. Staff of the Office of Chief Trial Counsel were improperly involved in matters assigned to outside conflict counsel. So let's see. So people inside the bar were also working with the outside people as well. That's what I'm getting from that. 8 Girardi cases were closed by individuals who may determine had conflicts of interest at the time they worked on the cases. The report found that their conflicts tainted their decision to close the cases, which makes sense. Interim Executive Director Bob Howley ghost wrote decisions in matters assigned to outside conflict counsel without disclosing the fact, including a decision to recommend closure of a complaint against Girardi. Okay, so internal people were working with the external people and basically covering up and still putting out a report, but not disclosing that they put out the report. To make it seem like they hired an external attorney to do the report, but that wasn't really the case. So, yes, State Bar, how are you going to fix this? Let's see here. Between 2013 and 2015, both the Executive Director's Office and the Office of General Counsel received reports about Girardi's influence at the State Bar in connection to Layton and others, but failed to investigate. Former Executive Director Joe Dunn, who was terminated in 2014, and Howley made questionable terminations of 2 OCT attorneys who were advocating for disciplinary action against Girardi. Okay, so that goes to what, I can't remember who said it, but what was said earlier, that they were terminated because they were trying to push the actions against Girardi. I don't know if they'll get compensation for it. I don't know if they would want to work back with the State Bar. I mean, I guess they could have a wrongful termination suit now that this has come up, but it would depend on exactly what they were fired. Questionable terminations. Yeah. So, okay. So they were questionable terminations. So they could have a case for that. I don't think they would want to work for the bar again, but they could potentially be compensated for the loss in salary that they had because of being fired, because trying to have the bar enforce against Girardi. And on at least one occasion, Girardi successfully deployed his connections at the State Bar to discourage people from making complaints against him, because the State Bar can say, okay, if you call them and say, oh, this person did this to me, they could potentially say, oh, well, Girardi Keese, that's a good firm. You're not going to win. I'm assuming that is what they're referring to. So what do you guys think about some of the things that the report found, giving away $1 million worth of gift, other gifts, internal people writing reports for external counsel? What do you guys think about that?
I don't know how anyone could trust the veracity of any attorney in California when the licensing agency is so suspicious. Mm-hmm. It's going to tear apart that entire profession, because the individuals who are there to protect the people mm-hmm. are saying, we're up for sale. I mean, and the big problem is the State Bar has a significant responsibility, not only in management of the profession, but they play a significant part in the selection of judges, more so with the American Bar Association, but oftentimes the State Bar also is in that process of are they qualified or unqualified. Also, they play a part in ethics inquiries in criminal cases and everything like that. If we can't mm-hmm. trust them, how are we to trust anything of our justice system?
Yeah, I agree. Marianne, did you have any thoughts on everything he did?
Well, we had here in Southern Nevada, mm-hmm. we had a law firm basically do the same thing as Girardi, only on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
It wasn't, millions upon millions. It was $1 million, mm-hmm. so much smaller mm-hmm. scale. They were caught inside of a year and the law firm was shut down. So the Nevada State Bar was Johnny on the spot, where mm-hmm. California, whoever can pay me the most will push it under the rug. So, yeah, which is, you think Nevada is Sin City, obviously not with financial gains. It's when you're stealing someone's money or defrauding or whatever however they want to word it, doesn't fly with, between the Nevada State Board, I guess, and we also have a gaming commission, which you don't mess around with either. So
and so the way that Nevada worked was the way that California should have worked. And the crazy thing is Girardi has been doing this for years, since the 1970s, I want to say, when his first disciplinary action came. And over 50 years, no one did anything about what he was doing, which is completely ridiculous. So I definitely agree with you there. Let's see what
the state bar has lacked ethical decision making for that period. How many other attorneys have done unethical acts that weren't caught, that weren't punished, and how many people do we have in prison and stuff because of unchecked, unethical acts?
That's true.
Because Girardi was civil, but there's also they do both civil and criminal attorney oversight.
Yeah, that is true. Let's see. Deacon Vito says $1 million, presses pinky at lips. Goodness gracious, this is a hot mess. Yes. Gloria Boss says one of the California bar attorneys had the K Amex card the Girardi Keys Amex card. I think I remember reading something about that. Completely inappropriate, right? Maybe included in the $1 million gifts, or maybe outside of that. But it sounds like he was basically bribing a lot of people. Julia 543 says, Gloria Boss, oh, nice. What are, you guys are talking about something else. Let's see. We have Lombebe saying they probably have so many people who were involved, but only gave us a few, hoping we would be satisfied with that and not bring any legal actions against the bar. That's what it sounds like. They're dropping some names that they probably already had pretty public fallouts with. That's what I would assume. I haven't followed this case all the way from the beginning. I don't know every single detail. So I'm assuming these people are people we already knew about. Let's see here. Tanya D says that is bad to Julia because Chicago is known for shady behavior, and apparently California is going to do it. But let me keep my mouth shut because I am a California licensed attorney. So we don't want those issues here. Okay, let's see what else is said here. The May report found that while the state bar has since done much to remedy this problem in the past, conflict policies were weak, record keeping on conflicts were incomplete, and awareness of conflict rules, which should be influence case assignments and handling, was low. So they didn't even know the rules they were supposed to be following. And I am surprised the state bar is putting this article on their own website saying that their policies were not in place correctly. That's crazy to me. The 2021 Lazar report revealed errors made in case closure over the 4 decades of Girardi's career. Oh, I thought he had been licensed since the 70s. So they're saying the only 40 years. In particular, the report identifies significant issues regarding the investigation and evaluation of high-dollar, high-volume trust accounts. The 2021 Lazar report prompted the board to undertake the May investigation and take several actions by the board to strengthen the discipline system. And the thing about trust accounts in California, or really with any state bar, is they're like highly monitored. You mess up 30 cents, you could lose your license. And in this case, he was messing up millions of dollars and no one really actually investigated him properly, which is completely ridiculous. They are going to let us know what actions they have taken so far. So I would definitely want to get your opinions on if these actions seem to like they will help, or if we're still going to have the same problem. So let's take a look. Current board and staff leadership have already taken many steps to reform the agency. Many of the failures outlined in the May report occurred before 2018, when the state bar shed its professional association functions and focused more sharply on its public protection mission. Examples of these reforms include more robust policies and procedures regarding conflicts of interest, and gifts that recognize the importance of avoiding the appearance of I knew that I couldn't say this word, impropriety, and mandate frequent reporting. New OCTC policy that limit the ability to close cases when a complaining party withdraws a complaint. Improvements on how OCTC reviews patterns of complaints. Numerous steps to strengthen the Special Deputy Trial Counsel program, which handles cases when internal staff have conflicts. Elimination of board election. All trustees are now appointed, and elections for board officer positions have been eliminated. Greater oversight by the board of the CTC and the STC. I don't know if these things are going to help.
Well, they say numerous steps. What are these numerous steps?
They're not telling us.
Yeah. And a lot of it looks like lip service, and just like what said earlier, they're just trying to get through things so that they don't get sued. And the thing is, you had mentioned the trust accounts. We now have 2 states with verified infringement of trust accounts. You have California and South Carolina. I would love to see the other 48 states do a comprehensive audit of all attorney trust accounts and see where else is this happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. To the state bars of the multiple states, we're not trusting you anymore.
Yeah. Well, and especially in the case of, in the one in South Carolina, the judge even said, you've controlled this justice system for 100 years. So when you have this county's justice system, you know, how many other small counties and small towns have the same thing going on? Just hasn't been found out yet.
At that point, with them being trust accounts, the U.S. Department of Justice needs to do audits, because you're talking wire fraud. You're talking bank fraud. It is now a federal case in all of them, because they're held in federally insured banks.
Yeah, they have to do something a little more than
U.S. Department of Justice needs to step up to the plate, say, forget the state bars, we're going to do it. Let's return, you know, credence to the justice system.
Right. Okay, Sue Kendall says, so scary when you don't know who to trust. This is true. Julia says, Boeing is moving their headquarters back to Washington, but it's been in Chicago. Why the case was through here? So for being Boeing to have paid and the money to go to California attorney instead of the victims is angering. So what probably happened is that Girardi, I don't remember exactly where the case was brought, but you can I can't think of the word, but you can, even though you're licensed in one state, you can apply to do a case. I cannot think of any words right now, but you can apply to handle a case. Yep, exactly. So that you can handle a case in a different state. And it typically happens where the state laws are not too much different, and they also work with a attorney in that state to make sure that's barred in that state to make sure that they're better familiar with the laws in that state. Well,
it's the same thing that happened in the Heard Duck case. The Brown Rudnick is not in Virginia. Like, they have Pro Hoc Vice on both sides, I believe. So, because if I'm not mistaken, Vasquez is Camille was from New York, and I think Ben Chu was from LA.
Yeah, and so you can, apply to handle a case in a different state. Normally, you have to work with an attorney that is licensed in that state. So that's probably what happened in this case. I just can't remember exactly where the Boeing case was brought. Let's see here. Tanya D says, I need to know what these numerous steps are. Again, just the words. I think a lot of people have that same feeling. Amica Fan says, how many other bars is this a reflection of? Will we ever know? Yep, I think a lot of people are on the same page. Tiny D says, Marianne was reading my mind. You guys are on the same page for sure. Julia says, I'm pretty sure Edelson is going to go after them. Yes, they are. They are. I think they already brought an action against them, if I'm not mistaken. Lisa says to Mary Ann, since you live in Nevada, are you following the Robert Tales case? It seems interesting because a politician killed a reporter, allegedly. Have you heard of that, Mary Ann?
Yes, and he's pro se.
Oh, wow. He's representing himself?
Yep. And the judge was very adamant with him, saying you should not do this. You should have an attorney. But he's another one. He thinks he's smarter than everybody else.
Yeah.
And so the reporter allegedly was doing a news story on Telus that was not going to be in good light. And so before the reporter could publish his news story, Telus allegedly unalived him. And so now he's in jail. There was a standoff. He didn't want to give himself up. There was a big standoff. Police were there for hours. And then, they finally got him to, what's the word I'm looking for? Surrender himself. And then he gets into court, and he's going to do pro se. And I'm hoping this is one they'll actually have on court TV that I can watch.
Okay.
The pro se ones are always interesting to me because, and he's not sovereign. He's just pro se. So, I think it's just
sovereign.
arrogance. Yeah. I think it's just arrogance on his part too. I mean, most people don't try and cure themselves of cancer. You go to someone who is a cancer specialist to help you. Why would you not get an attorney to help you get out of a murder charge?
Yeah, that's not a good way to go. And so I may look into this one because I know we talked a couple of weeks ago about covering more of the crime cases. So this one might be a good one to also look into here and check out if they are streaming it, if Court TV is going to stream it or whoever might stream it. But I had not heard of that case, but it sounds very interesting. Witness sees Mary Ann's paw nerd.
I got 2 of those, 2 paw nerds.
Amica says Hatfield and McCoy's system runs a lot of the country. Witness says, I think it's reciprocity. I can't say that word today. But you guys know what we mean here. Tanya D says, now I'm questioning my work comp attorney. He was good, but his father started the firm. I'm sure everything was fine, though. I feel like most attorneys are honest, but that could just be me being naive. Well, I say that, and then I have some pretty corrupt attorneys I have to work against. So I don't know if I could say most, but I would say most attorneys are trustworthy. There are some that are not, of course, but I think most are. Some people are just greedy, and that's going to be with every profession. All right, and let me see. I'm going to do a couple more chats on Girardi, and then we're going to jump into Russ. So if any of you guys are interested in talking about the Russ case on the live stream, make sure you start getting it together and joining backstage for the members. You can get the link in the membership tab. Guys, I think we have like 56 likes right now. We have like 57 here, 57 people watching live. So if you can, please hit the like button to support the stream support the stream. And we just got gifted 5 new memberships. Thank you so much, Chris Mullen. All right, let's see. We have Julia is now a member. Witness is now a member. Amica Fan is now a member. Lambe Bay is now a member. Thank you so much, Chris Mullen, for supporting the channel and getting us some more members on the stream. Wow, we got like a lot of members this stream. Thank you for everyone that has gifted memberships, and thank you, Chris Mullen, and welcome new members of the channel. Let me see here. Oh, I think I missed one person. Miss Geo Tiger is also a new member of the channel. So welcome. You get cool badges next to your name, cool emojis you get to use, and you support the stream. So thank you so much for that. Let me go into a few more chats here. Hello Swanky says, only a fool has themselves for a client. Is he even an attorney? Is that a politician? Do you know if he's an attorney, Marianne? No? He's not an attorney. So
he's not an attorney. Nope. That's why that's why I'm like, wow. And he's going to do this pro se. I am floored.
Yeah. Not a good idea. We have Julia. No. We have Julia saying for all other states to do a full accounting would take ridiculous amount of manpower. It needs to be audits that are randomly selected each year, and then those with complaints should be required. Yeah, I think that is how it works now, but I mean, I haven't been an attorney that long, so I haven't seen it done yet, but I do think that they're going to at least start. They've put in some other implications for us regarding our trust account that we have to do yearly now, starting this year. So hopefully it will get better over time. Lisa McKay says representing himself. Tanya D says, oh, he's doing the most. Witness says, wow, that's scary. A journalist targeted because of a news piece about someone. Yeah, that is scary because they're just trying to do their job. So Hella Swanky drops the link to become a member. Thank you for that. And then we're going to go ahead and switch over. Everyone's saying thank you for the memberships to Chris Mullen. Thank you again. We are going to jump over into the Rust case, the Rust shooting. I know you guys watch a lot of the legal YouTubers. So are you guys familiar with the Rust shooting case? Yeah, okay, cool. So he actually, I believe, just had a hearing not too long ago. He pled not guilty. We covered a couple weeks ago that they dropped did they drop the involuntary manslaughter charge? They dropped one of the charges, but I can't remember exactly which one it was.
Well, they dropped one of them because it wasn't a law when the incident happened.
Yeah. Which one was it?
And I can't recall which one it was. It was something with the gun.
Yeah. I have it somewhere here in my computer, but I just don't remember off the top of my head.
And I can't. There's a word that they used, and I cannot think of it. But they had to drop that one because that went into effect like 6 months after the incident happened.
Yes. And so I don't remember exactly what it was either, but he pled not guilty so far. He just had a hearing regarding what's happening in the case. And right now it seems like they're still doing discovery. And then he also has not civil charges, but a civil lawsuit against him that I have an article on that I am going to start reading and kind of see what's going on over there. And then we can talk about the case in general if you guys would like. All right, let's see.
Was it enhanced weapon charges?
Has there been decision made on the prosecutor? Because I know that was another issue, that the special prosecutor is also a sitting member of the House, which is a violation of state law, because the prosecutors are deemed to be an actor of the judicial branch, and she cannot mix service into branches of government.
Yeah. I haven't seen a decision on that quite yet. Honestly, that's the first time that I heard that. So I would probably need to look into that. So if anyone in the chat knows, please go ahead and drop it. And then here we go. Julia says they dropped the gun enhancement charge. Yes, I know they dropped something with the gun. Okay, let's see what's going on over here with our article. Alec Baldwin sees Rust crew member LA negligent. This title is not making sense to me. Hold on. Alec Baldwin sees Rust crew member LA negligence trial pause as New Mexico criminal case moves forward. So they are going to be pausing the civil case for now. Alec Baldwin has one less Rust trial to worry about for now. facing 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter in New Mexico for the fatal October 2021 shooting of the Russ cinematographer Helena Hutchins. I am adding the letters here. The actor has gotten a bit of breathing room in the California courts. So for those of you that do not know what happened with the Russ shooting, basically, Alec Baldwin was using a gun that everyone thought probably was a prop gun and mishandled it somehow into where it shot one of the cinematographers, and it also hit one other person as well, right?
So it was it was an actual gun that was being used as a prop. It was not because there's multiple different types of rubber duckies, look-alike stand-ins, and whatnot. This was a fully functioning firearm. They had both the prop rounds and for some reason, in violation of standards, had live rounds mixed in. It ended up being a live round that went. They were doing this shoot that was discharged. The assistant director and cinematographer were hit. The Helena Hutchins, who I believe was the assistant director, is the one that passed away, and the cinematographer was injured.
Yeah, and so this is what they're talking about. This is the case that they're talking about. I do see in the chat, and I can't bring it up here, but Bebe just gifted a Boss Attorney BriHive membership. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and gifting a membership. It was given to Lynn Tate. So welcome to the BriHive membership. And guys, like I said, if you want to join, you should have access to the link. You should have access to the link in the membership community tab. So let's see what else is going on with this. So sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. So he killed someone on a set. People brought negligent suits against him civilly, and now New Mexico is finally bringing the criminal charges against him. But this article is specifically talking about the civil cases being on pause because of the criminal case that is going on. So let's take a deeper look into that. Responding to a petition from lawyers for Baldwin, Russ producers, and other defendants, as well as plaintiffs Ming Mitchell, in the latter's negligence lawsuit, a Los Angeles Superior Court judge has paused the civil case and lifted any self-incrimination risk for the actor until next year, aka after the expected criminal trial in the Land of Enchantment is over. Let's see what else it has to say. In an order that could be read here, if you guys wanted to see it, inked Tuesday by last judge, LA Superior Court Judge Michael Whitaker, he stipulated that the trial date be continued from May 17, 2023 to February 21, 2024, or as soon thereafter in accordance with the court's calendar and availability. Let's see. All right, we have another friend in the background, so let's bring her up. Let's see. We have Hella Swanky. Welcome to the live stream. Your camera's a little high. How are you today? Your mic is muted.
Bingo. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, bet. I'm still trying to fix my camera. I got to get something to sit on. I'm like same size as a toddler, so.
Oh, okay. I thought you were raising your hand back there, so I thought you were ready.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Welcome. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. How are you? How's everybody?
Good. I'm glad you are joining us live. I've asked everybody the same question, so I'm going to ask you, how is the weather where you're at?
Probably the same as where you at. I'm here in Oakland. So It's gray, and it's not raining right now, but it's been raining off and on. So it's enough to make native Californians irritated and spoiled and, upset.
Right. And people act like they don't know how to drive when it's raining. So that's even.
We don't. I mean, most Californians don't know how to drive in the rain. We don't get enough
In
of it. At least in LA. Here in the Bay, we get rain, but in LA, nah.
Yes. Yeah. So, Rust case, is there anything you wanted to touch on before we finish the article? Because I know you wanted to cover this one.
Not specifically. I'm just kind of interested to see, hear your analysis and hear your take. This one is it's in my industry, so I've been kind of following it probably more than I follow most cases. And I think it's gonna change a lot in the industry. So I'm really interested to see how it plays out. So.
Yeah, hopefully they get a little bit more reins on what kind of guns to use on sets.
I think the biggest thing they need to do is stop trying to cut corners. I think there just needs to be some, because the rules are in place. I think that's the thing. And I think that's what's irritating a lot of people in the industry. There are rules in place. This is not the first accident. This is not the first death. We've been doing this for years, and it's. I think the reason that all of this happened was because of corners were cut and for the sake of money. It always comes back to money. But in this case, that cost somebody their life. And so I think that's what's probably the most frustrating part, is that there are rules in place. They need to be followed. And I think that's why charges are warranted here.
I really wish the civil cases would go through before the criminal case, because the civil case is for the people that were hurt, where the criminal case isn't going to help them.
Yeah. Oh, I say it all the time. Yeah. Right. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. That was it. It just doesn't. Yeah.
I'm reading this book right now, right? And it's called No More Police. And I think a lot of people, when they think about like defund the police or no more police, they're just thinking about lawlessness. But the whole point of it is like, we need a system in place that's like more restorative and not just punitive, because the system we have now, it's punitive. And sure, some people should be punished, but this is a perfect example of where restorative justice would be better, because even if charges go through, people get convicted, that doesn't help the people who were harmed. It doesn't help the people who were hurt. Maybe it brings them some closure, but it doesn't really change much. But, if we had a system in place that said, okay, you did this bad thing and you're going to be punished, but now also you need to make amends and you need to do X, Y, Z. And yeah, I think that'd be a much better system. But that's a whole nother, discussion.
So the big problem, though, if they do civil before criminal, then because anything that can be said in court can be used against them, they would still have their Fifth Amendment privilege in the civil case. If they were to finalize the criminal beforehand, then they would not have the Fifth Amendment privilege in the civil case. And the difference between criminal and civil application is, while your silence cannot be used against you in the criminal, it can be used in your detriment in a civil case.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So, because that's the one core reason why Huxtable, Bill Cosby, is out on the streets.
I was just about to bring that up when you finished. That's essentially what happened to Cosby, right? They said, fine, just handle this civil case. And then he was like, okay, so if I speak up, y'all not gonna prosecute me, right? And they're like, yeah, well, we won't prosecute you. Just go ahead. And then,
right. He had a decision of no pros. And so because there was no threat for criminal prosecution, he did not enjoy the Fifth Amendment privilege during the civil case and answer the question.
Right.
And then they tried to go backdoor and do it, so it was thrown out.
Yeah, great point. That's a great point.
All right, let's jump back into the article here. So regardless of any deal or not, this kind of state is a standard move in instances of overlapping criminal and civil cases, as Bill Cosby, just as you guys mentioned, and Danny Masterson have found in recent rape trials and tribulations of their own. The order by Whitaker comes as Baldwin and his Rust armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, are expected to appear before a New Mexico judge, Judge Mary Marlowe Sommer, on Thursday in a virtual status conference hearing in the criminal case. And that's what I was talking about earlier, them setting the preliminary hearing and all the things. With lawyers for all parties, plus Santa Fe District Attorney Mary Carmack Altwise, scheduled to be in attendance. The hearing is anticipated to lay down a preliminary hearing date in the matter. A date for Baldwin's motion to disqualify special prosecutor and GOP state legislator Andrea Reed could also be put on the calendar on Thursday. I didn't have a chance to watch the whole hearing, so I don't know if that happened. I know Emily covered this yesterday, so I wonder if she said anything about it or not. But I didn't get to watch the full hearing, so that may still be up in the air. All right, let's see here. With all that and the Resurrected Russ supposedly set to start filming soon in Montana, I can't believe they're still going to film this movie, but okay. It could be some time before Baldwin and Reed actually go to trial. Now facing 18 months behind bar and some fines for the death of Hutchins, the duo could still try to cut a deal of some sort with the DA, like Russ' first assistant director, John Halls did, or David Halls did.
Well, they're continuing with the movie because Hutchins' husband is now a producer.
Right.
And so he's getting paid to finish the film.
Right. I just don't, I can
know.
Definitely.
I'm with you.
I can
and my question is, they're moving to another state, so they're moving to another jurisdiction. Does that state really want the headache of all that, knowing all the other issues with safety and the fact that they were not following the policies of the SAG and everything else like that in the production of this film? You know, I mean, it just seems like a big headache. And are they trying to just, remove themselves from the licensing board in New Mexico because of all this? I mean,
yeah, you would think the state that they go to is going to be over their right shoulder the whole time and in their ear going, no, you can't do that. You have to do it this way. To keep them accountable for following all of the rules.
Right. And look, we have a super chat from Deacon Fatal. Thank you so much for giving a super chat to the channel. Thank you so much for the support. You say, okay, I'm just giving my subject matter opinion on guns. I find no reason why live ammo and prop ammo is mixed up. I have an armorer way back at I was an armorer way back at a time. You always clear and check your pistol for as far as the armorer. How? ? Well, we have the super chat, and I have Deacon Fatal actually coming up right now. I'm waiting for the camera to turn on, and then I will bring her in. But yeah, do you guys have any opinions on that? I feel like we talked about this in a previous stream about why they even had the live ammo on the set.
Well, it should never have been on the set. First off, that's, and secondly, it doesn't matter who's holding the gun or who handed you the gun. The person holding the gun should clear the gun. That's gun usage 101. You check the gun. That's I grew up in a military family. My ex-husband was a police officer. You clear the gun. When someone hands you a gun, even though they say it's empty, you don't go with what they say. You look at the gun, you make sure the gun is empty before you do anything. And you never pointed at anybody. Rule number one, don't point. Number two, clear the gun.
I think that's what even George Clooney said, right? Like, and other actors are speaking out on this. And how I think it's interesting, but I'm happy about this, that a lot of times other actors won't speak up about things, they won't kind of whatever. But I'm glad that people are speaking up and saying like, yeah, no, Alec, no, you messed up. Because at one point he said, oh, I know all about guns, right? And then he goes, well, I didn't know. They told me. And like, kind of, he was trying to like take the blame off of himself. But regardless if you know everything about guns or not, if I'm holding a gun and I'm going to be pointing it at somebody and I have to pull the trigger at some point, or even if I don't, you're going to come show me that the gun is empty. Like, you're going to break it down. You're going to explain. You should have a lesson. And supposedly he had a lesson, but he wasn't paying attention and all this, that, and the third. But like, I'm not pointing a gun at somebody that I don't know for sure is not loaded. And yes, there should not have been live rounds on set, period, point blank.
Right.
Totally
Definitely. Agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm sorry. I think a lot of American culture when it comes to firearms is continuing to ferment these problems. I mean, even in the Alec Murdaugh case, you had one of the attorneys improperly handling the firearm and pointed at the opposing counsel.
Wow.
I mean,
said I wish or something along that lines,
and
right?
Making a joke about it. I
was
flabbergasted.
I think that speaks to gun culture in America, right? Like,
exactly.
When you have friends from like outside of the US, they're like mind blown sometimes by how lax we are about guns, like how we just treat them like they are not deadly weapons. Like we have not learned our lesson time and time again. So to see that in the courtroom, like on the one hand, it was like mind blowing. And on the other hand, I was like, this is the US, like this is still America. Like, so it kind of didn't surprise me at the same time.
Right. Okay. And thank you again, Deacon Fatal, for the super chat. I see you backstage, but I'm not quite sure if you're ready. So you can drop in the private chat if you're ready or not. But yes, thank you again for the super chat. Julia says, to me, only thing that came out of the hearing were the dates, times, 2 weeks preliminary hearing, May 3rd through the 17th, several hours on special prosecutors hearing on March 27 at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Okay. So we did not get a decision on removing, I forgot the person's name that quick, but removing her from the case. So we still have to wait on that. Let's see what else is going on with the article here. Okay. Mere weeks after Hutchins' death on October 21, 2021, Baldwin sat down with ABC George Stephanopoulos for a primetime interview where he insisted he didn't pull the trigger on the loaded gun. They have a typo there. Didn't pull the trigger on a loaded gun that killed the cinematographer and wounded director Joel Souza. Baldwin's assertion was not backed by the FBI in its analysis of the incident and the gun, as detailed in the 551-page report released by the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office in November 2022. And to that, Comrade Atwise has claimed in the formal charges delivered on January 31st that Baldwin was absent and neglectful of vital firearms and safety training on Russ. Having entered a plea of not guilty in the criminal case on February 23rd, Baldwin had a big win last month when firearm enhancement statute that carried a 5-year mandatory sentence was dropped by the DA amid the defense team's cries of unconstitutionality. So that was the one we were talking about earlier, that he's only going to be having a trial for the involuntary manslaughter. Let's see. Still in a case that will be no easy effort for prosecutors, no one has determined how rounds of live ammunition got on the Russ set. Kind of like what we were just talking about. It should not have been there at all. To that point, and one of the first of a series of suits now before the court in the Golden State and in New Mexico, Russ Script supervisor Mitchell filed her lawsuit against Baldwin, the indie Western producer Reed Hall's property master Sarah Zachary, and others on November 17, 2021. So she's basically having to wait a long time before getting a settlement, because now we have to wait for the criminal case to finish. Mitchell, who is being represented by Gloria Allred, was almost right next to Hutchins and Souza in the Bonanza Creek Ranch church set when the 1880s prop gun Baldwin was pointing in a rehearsal fired. Early in November 2022, Whitaker scorned Baldwin's attempt to get out of the lawsuit. He also denied a motion from Baldwin and his Eldorado Picture Inc. to strike the script supervisor's claim of punitive damages. In response to Baldwin on November 11, 2022, hit back with a cross complaint for negligence and indemnification against Reed, Hall, Zachary, and Russ Weapons and round supplier Seth Kinney. So Baldwin is suing the people that he was sued along with. Okay, so not only does he have the criminal case, he has the not only does he have the criminal case, he has the civil case, which has now been put on pause so that we can try to, or so that he can try to avoid self-incrimination, and so that the the plaintiffs suing him will have a fair trial once the civil case goes to trial. Okay. So let's see here in the chat. Did you guys have any comments about that article at all, or any points you wanted to kind of zoom in on?
I think it's wild that Alec Baldwin is suing anybody right now. It feels like I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it feels like the wrong move in terms of PR, but also legally. It's like when what like luxury brand was that got caught up in the like child porn stuff and like or the kids wearing the bondage, the Balenciaga thing, and they were like, we're suing, so like that's not the right move. Like let's like don't do that. Like just let's take accountability. I think suing and doing these countersuits and all that stuff, that's going to actually backfire on him. In terms of PR for sure and public opinion. I think that's gonna I thought I put that outside. That's gonna make this draw out much longer, and it's going to make it stay in the public eye much longer and much more intensely than it would have otherwise. So I think that's a goofy move on his part.
Right. And then all of the interviews he's given where he's accepted no responsibility whatsoever. It's just, well, one, you talked, which probably shouldn't have done, right? Just keep your mouth closed. But then when he did speak, it was me, nothing about, I am so sorry this happened, or, and what little bit he did wasn't even believable, really. This is just me trying to cover my ass. There's just no real accountability. If you're a producer on a set, you're the one in charge. You have to take responsibility for the actions that happen on your set. And not taking any accountability or responsibility for anything just lowers my opinion. Not that it was very high to begin with, but lowers what little opinion I did have of him. It's just, it's not, none of it was good. None of it reflects well.
Right. He shouldn't have spoken to the police after. He should have immediately been like, attorney. And then, which I think really just all of this speaks to his arrogance and like his self-centeredness, right? Like he just was like, oh, I'll tell them it was not my fault. It wasn't on me. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened. And then like, I really thought he genuinely was like, let me just clear this all up. It'll be fine, right? So he shouldn't have talked to the police. And then he damn sure shouldn't have gone on TV and been doing interviews and media media engagements and things like that. I don't know who his publicist is. I don't know if the publicist is like tripping and he's not listening to them, or if the publicist
got all the gray hair I have right now because he's opening his mouth.
I don't know. But if he was going to speak, the only thing he should have been doing was like talking about how terrible this is and how badly he feels about it and how he really wants to make amends. Like even if he said like, I don't really think I'm legally liable because of XYZ and I can't get into those legalities right now, but I really want to express that I feel bad and I feel this and we're going to make amends and we're really working. He should have focused on what he could have been doing and what they could have been doing as a producer to make sure this never happens again. And then just said, I can't get into the legalities right now, but I just am expressing remorse. Like that's the only thing he should have. He should hire me. That's fine.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
Hello, welcome to the live stream, Deacon Fatal. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Welcome to the live stream. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. It is nice and sunny out here in Alabama.
Oh, got into the question
Rude.
before I can get to the question.
And a lot of sinuses because there's so much freaking pollen.
Oh, well,
You can keep the
hopefully.
pollen, but can you share some sunshine, please?
I would gladly show you some sunshine.
Yeah.
Well, this whole thing, like especially from start to finish, not checking your weapon before you pick it up, not clearing it. So, okay, when I was a police officer in the Air Force and an armorer, the first thing you do is check your weapon. If somebody hands you a weapon, you always check it. So I'm like, how did why would you just pick up a pistol and not check the weapon? And I don't know if this is his first time doing that type of role. I'm not sure because I don't follow Alec Baldwin that much.
Oh no, he's handled guns for decades.
He pretty much said he was an expert.
He said he was an expert. I know he talks about his
Why would you say that? Oh God!
But yeah, that's what's even worse. That's what I mean. Why I was like, he should not have opened his mouth because he did talk about how much he was an expert and how long he's been doing it, and then suddenly was like, "Oh, I didn't know. I blah, 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 blah." Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's a weird statement to make. That's very weird. Also with the armorers, again, mixing up ammo, live and fake. How does that happen? How?
I think it was careless. I don't know. I don't even know that they were like, oh, I can't tell the difference. I just don't know that they checked. I mean, I've heard a lot of things about. So I do want to keep in mind that like the armor was young and is a woman, right? And so that's not an excuse whatsoever.
Yeah.
If anything, I think that's a reason that she should have been on her A game even more because, you know, she should know how it is in this industry. But I think that's where a little bit of her own nepotism and being like a Nepo baby kind of messed it up. Because I know for most women or most people of marginalized identity, we know that you have to be really on your job. You have to do your job, you know, even better than you would otherwise. And so I think it's there was a lot. So like there were instances in which she says she wasn't allowed to go into a church, like they were having a scene where whatever, and she wasn't allowed in. Well, that's when you should have said, no, time out, stop. If I'm going to be the armor, I need to do, and you have to like hold your guns. And the reason I bring up like gender and marginalized identity is because I understand that it can be difficult to sort of stand your ground. And this was like only, I think, her second job. And so you might be nervous. And I've been there where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to speak up. I don't know. But if your job is on the line, your life is on the line, or other people's lives are on the line, that's when you have to put on your big kid pants and say, nah, if you want me on this job, if this is going to be my role, not only should I not be assisting wardrobe or whatever else they had her doing, because again, they were cutting costs, but that's when you say, no, I can maybe help you later. But while we're shooting a scene with a gun involved, this is my job. This is my responsibility. I need to be in that building. If you're not going to let me in that building, I cannot do this job, or I cannot do this role, or we need to stop.
Or you can't have the guns.
Highly agree.
Right.
Highly agree.
Yeah, so I'm saying that because like I understand that it can be more difficult as somebody who is younger and newer and also a woman and also still not a good enough excuse.
No,
Right.
somebody's life was lost, and that's the main point. So whether Alec wants to admit that,
he doesn't even want to admit he pulled the trigger. So,
well, he's not admitting he's pulling the trigger, and then he's also filing a lawsuit back against the plaintiff and saying, or not against the plaintiff, against his other defendant, saying, well, it's not my fault, it's their fault, but you're the one with the gun in the hand, so you have some type of responsibility at some point, especially when dealing with guns, and especially if you're an expert on guns like you say that you are. So he's gonna have to have some type of responsibility.
That part mentioning I'm an expert on guns, like that is going to be a hot mess in trial. Oh, so you're an expert, so you knew what you were doing.
And he's gonna say, I didn't mean it like that. Watch.
I have a question, Bri. Do you, and I think there's maybe two parts to this. I think there's like a legal maybe answer and then maybe like an industry answer. Do you think that Baldwin was the most responsible person on the set, given that he was a producer. So he was in charge of the set behind the scenes. He was an actor on the set, but he was also the one holding the gun. Like, I think like there are other producers, right? And then there were other people handling guns, like the armor, but he had all of the roles. So if anybody is responsible, if anybody needs to be held accountable, I would think that it would be him because he has all of those roles. So I don't know how that works legally, but I like industry wise, like, I think he might be the most responsible. So I think it's real telling that he's trying to pass the buck here and say, no, it wasn't me. I mean, I have all these roles and I'm getting paid for all these roles and I have all this power, but it's not me.
Right. And so he's not only looking at liability for himself personally, he's also looking at liability for himself as the producer company, because his company is one of the producers. And then with his company being one of the producers, I don't know exactly how his producer company is set up, but if he's the only one in the company or one of the only ones kind of like managing the company, there probably will pierce the corporate veil for that anyway. So as far as negligence and being responsible for the people on the set, he would be responsible, have some type of responsibility, if not all. But also him being the one with the gun in his hand, yes, he's going to have some type of responsibility. And no one's saying like, oh, you did it on purpose. We're just saying you had a duty. You did not uphold that duty. You breached that duty. So it caused damages. And so you're liable for those damages. What you did, having that gun in your hand, how is he going to be able to prove that the gun was faulty? All these people held the gun, but it only went off when it was in his hand. So how are they going to prove that the gun was faulty and he didn't pull the trigger? He just did this with the gun and it shot. Right. One, you need better props. Two, they're going to have to prove that. If he's saying he didn't pull the trigger, the gun was just magically in his hand and it went off, he's going to have to show. They're going to have to get experts to evaluate the gun and say, okay, no, this was a properly working gun, or no, this gun was defective some type of way. So yes, he's looking at liability both as the producer and as the person holding the gun.
Right. Okay.
Potentially as the director as well. If he was the director as well. And the actor in the movie, right?
No, he wasn't the director. He was
he wasn't the
actor, producer, and actor and producer and the shooter.
Well, I have to drop out, but it's very nice meeting you all.
Yes, well, thank you for coming on to the stream, and thank you so much for supporting the channel as much as you do. I'm happy that you were able to jump on today.
No worries.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, have a good day. Hopefully you're still in the chat though. All right, so let's see what the chat is saying. We've been kind of, going back and forth for a minute here. So we have Lambe Bay saying, I'm no expert on guns, but then proceeded to try to sound like one. Yeah, not a good idea. It's going to be perceived as him saying, I'm not an expert, but I am an expert. That's what it's going to come off as.
I think that's his arrogance. Because I don't think he was lying about not pulling the trigger. I think he's really that delusional because of his arrogance that he just thinks I could not possibly be accountable. I could not possibly be the one in the wrong.
The question would be then, how did the gun go off if he didn't pull the trigger? He's gonna have to argue it was defective in some type of way.
Right, but I think they tested it right after, which is wild. Because I don't even know why he tried that one. Like, he could have said, like, I don't remember even pulling the trigger, but him to be like, no, I did not pull the trigger. No, I know for sure I did not pull the trigger. It's like, sir, did you just point it and it just went off? Because that's not how guns work.
No. And he said he was fanning. When he says he's doing the fanning thing, well, even if you're fanning, when you're fanning, you have to hold the trigger down when you're fanning for the bullet to eject, to fire. Yeah. So obviously the trigger was engaged while he was fanning.
Yeah.
Right.
And I agree with Julia 543, by the way, about his mansplaining backfiring on him. That's how he went into it. Like, let me tell you how guns work, sweetie. Like,
this is how it works.
The officer doesn't know.
Yeah. Let me
how it works, but I did not pull the trigger.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I'm an expert, but also I didn't know anything. I did nothing wrong. I don't know what happened.
Guns go off when you pull the trigger, but I did not pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So Tikim says, I know he did a movie with gun in the 90s, The Shadow, I think. So it goes all the way back. And apparently has done multiple movies with guns. Amika Fan says, I'm in a summer drought, so I'm also sending some sun to everyone. Okay. He's like, yes, we need it. We need it.
You.
Exactly. Tanya D says, yeah, the whole family business. He has no excuses. Julia says the guns go where she go. Exactly. This is what we were talking about earlier because I'm behind in the chat as always at this point. That she should not have been out of the room whenever they had the gun. As the armorer, she's supposed to be making sure that everything's working right. But could you imagine working with Alec Baldwin and him kind of being aggressive and making her feel like she couldn't step up for herself? I feel like that's probably how she felt. As far as being removed from the situations.
Because she said that he was like not being cooperative, right? Like she was trying to like do her job, give the lesson, and like the lesson that's required. Because remember I said there's rules in place. There are things and processes in place to avoid this, and that she was trying to do that, and he was like on the phone and talking to his family and like barely there. He didn't stay the whole time, and when he was there, he wasn't paying attention. So I can only imagine how it is like. The industry, I don't know that a lot of people realize it, but the industry is like, it's like, it can be really tough, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I understand being intimidated, you're dealing with these high profile people, and this is only your second job, and you're already a woman in an industry that's like not great for women, especially in that specific role of armor. I get it, which is why I think he's even more like responsible. Like, it sounds like he was not being a responsible producer or actor or participant in this process.
Yeah, that is accurate. Amika Fan is saying, why are they using live round capable guns on set? Can they not modify them to only fire blanks? I don't know that all the way. Hello, Slinky, you have some insight on that?
Yeah, I don't think that that's usually how it works. I mean, I know that they have some weapons, right, that will not fire live rounds, and somebody asks like, why are they not just using prop guns? Like, why do we even need real guns on set? Which I completely agree with, but I think that speaks back to gun culture in America, where guns are just kind of seen as no big deal, right? Where in a lot of other places, like there are people who go like their entire lives without seeing a gun in real life, right? And for us, it's no big deal. So it's fine that they're on set or somebody's walking around carrying it. They shouldn't have even been on set, and so. Can they modify them? They don't need to. They have weapons that won't fire live rounds that they could have used. Like they don't even need to modify them. They just use the safer option.
Yeah. Well, right. And you can use a gun that has no firing pin.
Yeah.
Right. And you can CGI in the whatever smoke you want to make, whatever. If it's in the dark and you want that light up happening, you can use CGI for that. CGI is so good, you never have to have any type of round in a gun, whether it's a blank or a beanbag or whatever it is. You can CGI all that in now. There's no reason to have them.
I think that goes back to being greedy and cost, right? And like they had a smaller budget, and they keep bringing up the fact that this was a smaller budget, but like it was still millions. Like I've done more with less, like not CGI, right? Like CGI I do understand is expensive, but that's what I mean by like greedy. Like the way that they were cutting corners, and the fact that the crew walked off set is really telling. Crew is not going to walk off set. They're not going to leave set for just anything. Like you can get blacklisted pretty easily in the industry. So you're not going to do that. It really had to be, things had to really be going wrong for the entire crew to just be like, deuces, right? Like we're just out of here. So they could have done a lot of things, but to me, it all goes back to money. Like, well, CGI would have cost more. Well, this would have cost more. We're going to waste time doing this. We'll spend more time doing it. Like every day that you're on set is several $100,000, even if you're not shooting, right? Just being there, from renting the equipment to paying people their labor and, wages for their labor and things like that. So every amount of time they take, every minute costs a certain amount, tens of thousands of dollars. Every day costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. CGI costs money, but that's all worth it if if people are going to be safe, if the crew is going to feel safe and taken care of and things like that. I think that's why I'm so like frustrated, because there's a lot of people who do a lot more with a lot less money. It's not an excuse.
Hey, to Deacon's question, it was a revolver.
For the gun, it was the revolver.
It was a revolver.
Okay. And then Julia says, how the gun went off is an issue in the case. The FBI tested the gun, and the only way they got the gun to fire actually broke the gun. So now defense experts can't test the gun. And so that was brought up, briefly mentioned, kind of shadily, that the prosecution broke the gun. So there's no way they can test it. And that would be evidence in the case. So that may go to hurt the prosecution. And if that was the only way to get it to fire, like, what were they doing on the set with it? I feel like that's going to bring up a lot of questions. Okay, let's see. And Ralph says he did the hunt for Red October. Let's see. Julia says to Deacon Fatal, it was a revolver. Okay, I think I'm behind in the chat. Yep, I am behind in the chat. Let me catch up here. Let me try to catch up a little bit. Tekim says, or Tekim, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but we're going to go with Tekim. If they are cutting costs, then they should have cut costs with the weapons and buying low quality. They should have not had as many weapons or something. Tanya agrees. Alec Baldwin says, for a whole cast to walk away from wages was huge and a red flag. What are you guys saying is the red flag about that? Like, they weren't paying them enough, or what is your opinion on it?
Why they walked off set?
Yes.
So it was a number of
following rules.
Yeah, it was a number of issues. And it had to do with safety, rules not being followed. Ooh, excuse me. It had to do with them having to travel. I don't know if it was an hour or 2 hours to get back to their housing. So once they leave set, and movies and things like this film wild hours, and you're there for a really long time, right? 16 hours, 12 hours, 18 hours, whatever. And so when you leave, you just want to go get some rest, because usually there's a quick turnaround time and you have to be right back. So when you get off set, the last thing you want to do is travel an hour or 2 hours to get back to your hotel, sleep for 4 hours, and then have to come right back. And they had talked to somebody about that. And usually the Hollywood attorney talked about this too, Tyler, the Hollywood attorney, about the fact that, like, most times any good set supervisor, producer is going to ensure that their crew and their cast either have trailers that are right there on set, or have hotel and housing, lodging within 15 minutes of set, right? Like, definitely not an hour. Like, over 15 minutes is pretty atypical, unless you're just like really way out in the boondocks, and then they will set up trailers and things like that. But that is a big thing. And I think a lot of people were like, well, that's no big deal. But it is. If you work 16 hours and then you only have 4 hours, 5 hours of sleep, you don't want to use up 2 of those hours traveling, right? And then there were safety concerns. They were bringing them up. They were not being dealt with. They felt disrespected. I mean, there were just a whole host of issues. When I really heard about all of the things that were happening, I was surprised that they stayed as long as they did. I can't remember if everybody was union, but there were just multiple safety violations, housing issues, being disrespected, not being listened to, concerns being brought up and not being resolved, just a mess and a half. And that's why I'm really surprised that this movie is going to continue to be shot. I hope they have a better budget, or somebody who can manage a budget more ethically.
Yeah. Deacon Fiddle says it was just a hot mess. To summarize all of that, right?
Totally. That is legit.
Ari says there were a bunch of accidental misfires too. I think someone even shot themselves in the foot. Okay, these are more details that I did not know about.
And those things were reported. Like, they were reported and, like, brushed off, apparently. Like, the things that were supposed to happen when accidental misfires happen do not happen. Like, you're supposed to have safety meetings at the beginning and the end of each day. Even if you repeat the same thing every day, you still have the safety meeting at the beginning. When an accidental misfire happens, there are protocols in place that are supposed to happen. You stop what you're doing. How did this happen? How do we make sure it doesn't happen again? And then you move forward. But that would have cost money, because it would have stopped production, and they didn't want to do that because they don't want to take a cut in their own paycheck.
Well, that also makes Alec a little bit more culpable. If there had been several misfires already happening, and if this guy shot himself in the foot with a real bullet, then you had some type of knowledge that there were some real bullets mixed in. They should have fixed that problem way before this could have happened. So that's interesting. I did not, I guess I might have forgotten that fact because it does sound familiar, but not all the way familiar. But yeah, it makes him a little bit more responsible maybe than negligence, because you knew that you were having those issues.
You know, this wasn't some freak accident. This was, you could have seen it coming, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Ian did a video, and he was out at a gun range. Ian, Runkle of the Bailey.
Yep.
And he took a friend out that has never shot a gun, never saw a gun, never looked at bullets, never touched bullets, any of that stuff. She could tell the difference between a live round and a dummy round.
Yeah, you can.
Now, if someone who's never touched a gun or a bullet can figure that out in 18 seconds, then someone who has been on sets with guns for decades should know better.
Yeah. The thing is, did he say he checked the gun? I thought he didn't check it.
No, he didn't check the gun.
He didn't.
That's a rule he broke. You check the gun.
That's what I'm saying, that there are things in place. It's not like, oh, these are difficult to distinguish. Like, prop things are intentionally, like, when it comes to, say, like, weapons is what I mean. They're intentionally designed to make it noticeable, right? Yeah, like, to us, not to the audience. Yeah, to make sure that you can tell the difference. It's not all that. If he would have just checked, if he would have just had somebody come and clear it and say, see, open it up, see, okay, good, we're good. Like, 30 seconds, not even.
Because a revolver is so easy. You just pop the cylinder out, you look, it's empty, you put it back. It's that easy.
Oh, there's gonna, like I said, it's bringing more culpability to him. And I think it's going to be hard to argue that he's not responsible. So I would anticipate some type of plea out. But being Alec, we might be dealing with another Alec on the stand, letting us know why they're not responsible. Witness says the crew people need a job. Seems like walking off set is a big deal. They must have seen something really unsafe. Yes, I think
really
so.
Big deal. It's a really big deal. It could mean you getting blacklisted and not working in the industry again.
Yeah.
Like that's not an exaggeration. Like, you know what I mean? It's a little bit harder to get blacklisted these days, like post Me Too, but not that hard, you know. So the fact that they like mass just like dipped. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and then Lambe Bay says, were they using guns on set that they shouldn't have been using? Yes. Which I think are the real guns. But I think we've had this discussion before, and they said there's no rules against having real guns on the set.
Yeah, it shouldn't be using in terms of like legally or against. No, I mean, you're allowed to have them on the set in the sense that you're allowed to have weapons on your person when you go into Walmart, right? But like, shouldn't, when I hear shouldn't, I'm like, shouldn't as in there was no need for them. So why? Like,
right.
Why did you need because I think like part of me feels like, you know, the armorer, because I think she had like some of her own weapons there. And part of me feels like she had weapons there, not flexing, but almost like as a credibility thing. Like, these are mine, like kind of showing them off. I don't know, but there was just no reason to have them on set when you can use prop guns or guns like that don't have the firing pin, like Marian said. So
Julia, I think she's talking about the Ian's video. He took a viewer that was willing to touch a gun, but had never. A stranger taught her the characteristics of live versus dummy rounds and had her figure it out blindfolded. Or maybe that's not. Is that Ian's video?
Who did that?
No, I don't. I think Ian knew the girl that he took to the range.
Yeah. Okay, so it must be something else there. Lambebe says, I know nothing about guns in movies. Are there certain types of guns that are made specifically for movies, or can we use real guns and just use different bullets? And that's kind of what we've been talking about. What was that?
There should be no bullets.
I was saying both. Right. Are there certain types of guns that are made specifically for movies? Yes. Or can you use real guns and just use different bullets? Yeah. Also, yes. So both.
Yeah.
But there should never be live rounds on
I
a
was just
set.
going to say, you should never combine like a real working gun with a live round. Those
on
two
movie
things
set.
should
Never
I don't know
be
why they
live
wear live
rounds.
rounds on set, period. That's really the thing.
Right,
The actual working guns being on set, not the issue. Actual live rounds, issue.
Okay, that's where I kind of confused it a little bit earlier. So you can have the guns, but they have to have specific type of rounds there so that no one gets shot. Amika Fan says he didn't get the gun off the armor. It was someone who wasn't supposed to hand it to him. Well, that's even more reason why he should have checked.
That's the problem. Yeah.
And they're just grabbing random bullets out of the armorer's closet. They are, like they said, safety issues are big on this movie set, it looks like. Ryan Ralph says the AD checked, saw something amiss, and didn't do anything. So they're saying that the armorer did check. And more of these things are going to come out. Yeah, more of these things are going to come out in trial.
I think that's AD,
the assistant director. Oh, yeah, sorry. The assistant director. But that's not the armorer.
Right. But I didn't
hear
the
one that pled out. He's the one that pled out.
The assistant director did plead,
Yeah, which was smart. I didn't realize that. Is that why he pled? Because he saw something and then didn't say anything? Okay. Well, see, that's how you handle it.
I'm going to assume. I mean, we don't know for sure because he pled, so there was no trial or anything.
Right. So that's what he was being charged for, right? Like negligence because he saw something amiss and then didn't say anything. What? How he? Okay.
They just let him off.
So wait, he accepted it from the assistant director who saw something amiss, but still handed him the gun. Alec didn't check, and then they pointed it at somebody. Oh, dear God. Okay. It's worse than I realized.
The whole thing from beginning to end was just wrong. Every wrong thing that could be done was done.
And the armorer said, or is alluding to the fact that somebody may have sabotaged the situation. And my thing is like, if that's the case, we need to figure that out for sure. I don't know
the purpose of that though.
Well, that's my thing. Like, I don't know what the motive would be if that's the case. If somebody was like trying to sabotage it, like, oh, I'm gonna make her lose her job, or so. I don't know. There could be any number of things, especially in Hollywood. But then that's even more of a reason that you should have been doing your job. So that doesn't exactly excuse you, because that's like a prime reason why you're there, to make sure things like that don't happen. And so that was avoidable. But if somebody did sabotage, and part of me thinks like maybe somebody did, like, as unbelievable as it is, part of me maybe wants to believe maybe this was sabotage, because so many things went wrong that didn't have to, that like it almost does seem intentional. But like, what would be the motive? Like, it's just wild that something so avoidable went so badly.
Yeah, but how could so many wrong things happen?
Right.
That's so many wrong things.
A lot. That's a lot.
It's not just like one thing. It was so many wrong things.
Right. And so even if someone did do it intentionally, that just creates one more person that's liable. They would just be on trial for intentional.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't get anybody else. Yeah, right. It doesn't help her case in any way. It doesn't help Alec Baldwin, doesn't help the AD.
Right.
Even if somebody like was there from day one, plotting, planning, scheming, it doesn't help anybody. It just makes it even worse.
Right. Yep. And so they have their own duty. That person who, if they were really sabotaged, that person, they're not negligent. They're looking at intentional harm to somebody. But for the negligence, you had a duty. You're the armorer. You're responsible for checking the guns. Let's see what her contract said, that she would probably make sure to supply the right rounds, right? And then you got Alec, handling guns, and it's a real gun. You're supposed to check the gun. So they still have their own duties that they breached. Someone doing something intentional is not necessarily going to take away their liability. So,
but doing something intentional, how do you, I'm going to do this, but how does that get, this person is going to do this wrong. This person is going to do this wrong. Well, this person is going to do this wrong. So I can do this intentional thing.
Think about it. Think about it like this. This is what I was thinking when Bree was just saying that. if somebody did sabotage it, my only thinking is that, like, let's say they were just trying to get somebody fired. Like, let's say they were just like had a thing against the armorer and was like, oh, she's a Nepo baby, shouldn't be here. Somebody else should have this job. Let me try to get her fired. So maybe they assume, because of all these checks and balances are in place, maybe they assume, well, I put a live round in here, but somebody will catch it along the way. And then they'll blame it on the armor and say, how did a live round get in here? And then she'll look bad and she'll be in trouble. But somebody will catch it because there's all of these checks in place. Yeah. And then they failed one after another, one after another, one after another. And then somebody ends up dead. So I just thought about that as Bri was speaking, because I'm like, okay, that's possible. And it is Hollywood. Hollywood can be cutthroat like that. It can be wild. But to me, again, like Bri said, that just makes it worse. It doesn't help anybody out, because so many checks were missed, like you were saying.
I'm wondering if the sabotager is the assistant director.
I was thinking that though, and I was like, maybe that's why he fled out so fast. Like, what if that's why he fled out so fast? Like he saw it. He knew he wasn't supposed to be the one that handed him the gun. He hands him the gun. He knows there's a live round in there.
Knows Alec's not gonna check.
I don't know, because isn't he the one that ended up shot though, or was that the director?
Well,
no,
and then if
it was someone named Souza.
But now he's pled out. He can testify with no repercussions.
Right.
So he can testify for the prosecution.
Oh, I hope he does. I hope. I don't think Baldwin is going to plead out, especially if they don't reduce the charges even if there's jail time on the table. I don't see Baldwin pleading out. Don't see it happening. But part of me hopes it doesn't, because I want answers. I have questions. And I think that now the person who pled out can spill some tea and do some, well, I wouldn't technically be snitching, but like spill the tea and kind of let it the director play, because he didn't do anything.
The people in the chat think it is the same person that was shot, but the person that was shot was Joel Souza, and I think that was the main director, but the assistant director I think was someone else.
Yeah, I thought it was the director that got,
the director got shot, but let me see if
that out.
I'm gonna look it up, but I think it's two different people.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, so the director, the assistant director is David Halls. The person that was shot was somebody Souza. So no, he was not the one that was shot.
Yeah.
Joel Souza was the one that was shot. Okay. So we got that all corrected as well. Let's see.
He didn't do anything, as in he didn't do it. He was supposed to do something and didn't do anything. Okay, I got it. I thought you meant I thought they meant didn't do anything, like he was innocent. That's why he pled. Okay, I get it.
Oh no, they were just saying he was the one that was shot. So like, kind of why would he set himself up? But it was a different director that was actually shot. So that's not the issue here. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes forward and what kind of facts come out in the case. I'm going to do a couple of more chats about Russ, because I keep getting behind in the chat, and then we're going to cover one more story, and that's going to be kind of more in depth of Brittany Dawn, who we covered on Thursday, about how she responded to the discovery, because we talked about how she did not respond to discovery. Okay. Salam Bebe says bullets randomly showed up on set, and that box had the real bullets, and she checked the bullets and out the box and put the box down, and someone put in real bullets when she walked away. You can't, I'm pretty sure she has duties not to leave those boxes unattended. Lock them up.
That's what she claims, but even if that's true, it's still her fault.
Yeah. Witness says, oh, that is so vicious, but also could have happened. Yeah, that's true. Julia, as far as the assistant director setting Alec up, because he's probably like, hey, Alec, you need to do safety. Or let's say the sabotager, whoever it is, hey, Alec, you need to do safety. Hey, Alec, you need to do safety because we've already had some misfires. You need to do safety. And he's like, okay, let's see if he's going to do safety. And then he doesn't do it. And then someone ends up dying. So if there is a sabotager trying to teach Alec a lesson or teach the armorer a lesson, it's not going to take away his responsibility because he was supposed to check it. It's not going to take away the armorer's responsibility because as the armorer, she's the one that's supposed to be handing him the gun, right? That's how I would understand it.
Yep.
So they both
why would
still
you accept a gun? Why would you accept a gun from anybody but an armorer?
Carelessness.
Yeah. Well, again, the whole everything was wrong.
Right. Julia says she should know the difference between live and dummy rounds and have sorted them out and gotten them off the set. It was ridiculous amount of live rounds. Exactly. Julia also says, don't say something like that. Defamation, girl. What part? I think I corrected myself. What did I say? I forgot. I forget that quick. I said, let's say. Lambebe says she's saying this mystery box was real bullets and someone set her up and she didn't catch the real bullet because there were none when she checked and she got called away and no one checked again. She gotta I feel like she should have to lock it up, but I don't know how armors work.
Which I think goes back to her having more than one job, more than one role on the set, which was already not okay. I think a lot of times you can have people who have more than one role. I've played more than one role when I've worked on sets, but like there are certain roles that where people should not be doubling up. Like she should not have been the armor and wardrobe assistant or whatever. I think she was like costume, helping with costumes too. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, Pam. Like, let's not do that. If you're in charge of armory, you handle that. Ain't no walking away. If you walk away, you take the box with you. And then, but it still doesn't matter because when she came back, should have checked it. And again, it's not difficult to tell the difference. So yeah, no.
Yeah. We have Kimmy Locker saying, if I remember correctly, she checked the box by shaking the entire box, which is obviously insufficient. If that's what she did, yeah, that sounds definitely insufficient. Yep, these ones are good. Let's go.
Not okay.
I hope that's not what happened.
I hope that's not what happened. I just ditto. Nope.
Right. Welcome in, Jane Stoddard. We are doing good. We are just covering up. Someone has music in the background.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
My alarm. It's my alarm.
That's a nice alarm. Make you want to jam when you wake up. Kimmy Locker said, I already read that one. Let's see. Witness says, not check the gun. Yeah. Let's see. When it's gonna check it twice, I guess they should be checking it. Like I said, even if someone did do something intentionally, they still have their own duties. One, the armorer should not have been letting other people hand guns off. Probably should have locked up whatever live round she found. All of the things. Alex should have checked the gun. So even if someone did sabotage them, it's not going to be a good defense. Witness says, on the set, handle the ammo like it's a box of cash. Don't lose it. Let it out of your sight. I would agree with that, but I don't know exactly what their rules are. I would assume that's a part of their rules. Don't let anybody touch it. That's why they have you there. But I don't know, and we won't know until maybe like some contracts come out or expert testimony about what armorers are supposed to do with things. So there's that. Rotten Ralph says it's what she reported as far as, she's the one that said she shook the box. Is that what you're referring to? I hope not. I really hope not. Ashley Hempel says, we've been busy all week. I'm definitely going to have to watch part of this again. Yeah, it's been busy. I know you're working, Ashley. Deacon Fatal says, have to head out. Take care, everyone. The case will be a hot mess. Thank you, Deacon Fatal, for joining the live stream and also participating in the chat and also supporting new members of the channel and also giving a super chat. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a good day. All right, we are going to jump on to the next case because I caught up with the chat. I think Marianne had to pop out. Okay, so Marianne had to pop out, so it's just you and I, unless anyone else from the members tab on your community tab, you can join in on the live stream by getting on StreamYard with us here, and we are going to be talking about Brittany Dawn that we talked about on Thursday. And she's she was a fitness influencer who is being sued by the state of Texas basically for not providing the workout plans and meal plans, individualized workout plans and meal plans like she promised. And I actually have the discovery because we talked about how she didn't comply, or the plaintiffs are arguing that she did not comply with discovery, so it's going to be hard for them to prove their case. So I went and got the motion to compel and also the motion for sanctions for basically not complying with discovery. Discovery is basically a step in litigation that you do in order to collect evidence from the other party. And in this case, they sent her special interrogatories, which are just questions that she has to answer under penalty of perjury. And they also sent her a request for production of documents, which is exactly that. She needs to produce the documents that they're requesting. We are wondering why they did not subpoena these documents from the proper entities like PayPal or whoever else she received the money from, but they didn't. So we are going to be taking a look at the discovery. Hello, Swanky, were you in on the live stream when we were talking about this? Yes. Okay. What was that?
I just said, I was muted, but yeah, I was there.
Oh, okay. And do you have any opinions about this to start off, or?
Not any that I didn't give when we talked about it or that haven't already been given. I'm still catching up on. I've learned a lot from the summary from between Fundy Fridays and Jordan and McKay, which is a ex-Mormon couple that cover stuff like this. So
Okay. So all right, I got your message too. And I'm hoping we're going to finish this one quite quick. All right, so let's go ahead and start talking about the discovery. So basically, they were supposed to give the plaintiff side information, and they didn't. So let's go through some of the questions that they asked from her. That's what I want to cover. The special interrogatories, of course, they asked just like, what's her name? She had to give that information, her address, which she gave her attorney's address. Let's see here. They asked who will be testifying. The only person she named is herself. So I don't know if they're going to try to throw in additional witnesses randomly, but they do have to give notice to the other side of what witnesses they will have. Let me get into some of the more interesting things. So they also asked regarding the plans that was available for sale on the bdawnfit.com that was launched. Please identify the name of each plan, identify the characteristic, benefits, and qualities offered for each plan, identify the price of each plan, and identify the total number of consumers who purchased each plan. She basically said, look at this document and did not answer the question, and basically just said, look at this document, and then we're going to look at the document later. It doesn't even have good information on there. Another question they asked was to identify each plan. For each plan, identify in the response to number 5, which were the ones that she basically said, look at this document for. Let's see. Identify all aspects of the services offered to consumers that you allege constituted mere puffing in her initial response. She simply just did not even answer the question. So are we getting a feel as to why the plaintiffs decided to bring this motion against her? She's basically just not answering the questions at this point. They asked her to identify the names, address, and phone numbers of each consumers regarding which one that purchased the specific plans. Again, she sends them a document that is not all the way covering, which we will get to in a moment. They asked her to define personalized macros as they used it on the Brittany Dawn website. She just said, see the responses on the document again. So she's basically just not answering the questions. You should be able to define personalized macros if that's what you're selling. I'm going to take a pause real quick here. We have Marianne, who just left the stream, gifting 5 Boss Attorney Bri memberships. Thank you so much for the members, the new members. We have Fat Baby Toodles became a member. Sarah KB became a member. Rachel Gillett became a member. Nurse Dog Mom and Lori Webster also became members. Thank you so much, Marianne. Thank you for joining the live stream, and thank you for gifting some additional memberships for the channel. I definitely appreciate it. And I have not said in a while, guys, if you have not liked the video, please do hit the like button. I think we are at 87 likes. So let's try to get the stream to 100 likes while we are live. So if you haven't liked the video quite yet, please do so to help us out in the algorithm here. All right, let's see what else kind of answers did she give. They asked regarding the plans that she indicated, if any of the consumers receive the promised personalized macronutrition calculations or adjustments. Remember, she was supposed to be providing these customers with actual individualized workout plans and nutrition plans. And her answer is each consumer received their personalized macronutrition calculations or adjustments. So she's basically just saying, I'm not going to give you the individual names. Everyone got what I offered to them, which I don't think they did. Otherwise, this complaint would not have been brought.
They did not.
Right. Again, they asked her who received their daily coaching. Again, she answers, each consumer received their check-ins. Also not true. We're talking about those text messages that she sent, and then if anyone responded to her with any particular question, she just said, "You go, girl." They also asked, who have you issued a full or partial refund to? She said, look at the documents.
Oh,
so again, not answering, just non-responsive, right? They say, identify the consumers who did not receive their personalized macronutrition. She said, I don't know what you're talking about. Each of the consumers received their calculations or adjustments.
I mean, technically they did receive them. They just weren't personalized and correct and accurate, right? Or didn't they technically receive something, but that's not the point.
That's not the question, though. The question is personalized macros. And
she right.
She said they all received, but you're right. The way she answered it, she just said they all received calculations and adjustments.
She thinks she's slick. She's not.
Yeah, she thinks she is. They go on to ask her, identify the individual consumers again, and she's just saying everybody got it, right? Who did not receive fitness coaching via check-in emails or text messages throughout the 30, 60, or 90-day or 6-month program. She said each of the consumers received coaching in their plan if their plan called for it and they followed the plan instructions. So she's going to let us know the plan instructions on the next round of these in a second. So she's basically saying if they did not get the coaching, it's their fault. That's what I'm getting from that answer. Let's see. Again, she's telling them to look at the document when they asked about the satisfaction of the program. They asked her to identify individual consumers who were charged a shipping fee for delivery of digital products. My girl says, I don't know of any shipping costs which were received.
Oh.
So when the plaintiffs produce receipts, when the plaintiff produces receipts of her charging shipping costs, she's going to be looking real crazy on the stand.
So we just flat out lying now. Okay.
She's flat out lying. Okay. And then she also covers up everything by saying she was supplemented as it goes on, which she probably won't. Identify the total amount in dollars and cents you received from consumers as a shipping fee for materials delivered exclusively by email. Again, she says, I do not know of any shipping costs which were received. But she's going to be the only one testifying. So where's your financial person if you're going to do that? They also send a request for production of documents, which she objected to. I'm not going to go through all of them for her to produce documents of the customers, how much they paid, how much she earned, her bank statements. And she basically objected to all of them, which she was not supposed to do. because her responses were late. So we're going to skim through these ones. And this is what the plaintiff's attorney wrote back to them when they received these responses, right? They said, to Mr. McLean, we received defendants' responses to the state's first set of interrogatories and requests for productions on Monday. We completed a review, and there are several issues that need to be promptly addressed. For one, defendants waived their objections to discovery. So she objected to the request for production of documents, saying that it was like unreasonable or burdensome or whatever it might be. But she was not supposed to do that because she was late in filing or in serving her discovery responses. She said, even if the attorney says, even if the defendant had not waived their objections, the specific objections asserted to response to the request for protection are not proper. Again, her saying that it's overly burdensome. She can't find the information. She is the one that would have access to all of that. Another reason why they say that it's improper, the form is improper because basically she just submitted like screenshots of things instead of just printing out the transaction. And then that the screenshots were actually cut off in some spots. It didn't show the full document. It's just, they're playing games with the plaintiffs.
Games, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Defendants failed to respond adequately to the state's interrogatories. Remember, they asked for specific names. She simply said everybody got it. And then on one of the questions, she just simply did not answer the question, which is ridiculous. And so they demanded that they provide the documents by a certain date. The other attorney responds and say, hey, I received your email, but I was out of town and I'm going out of town this weekend. And our client, as far as the documents not being in the proper form, our client, which is Brittany Dawn, struggled to even save the delivered documents as a PDF. We are discussing hiring a company to gather these documents for our client. It will certainly be a challenge for her to deliver actual documents.
Oh my God.
Then who are we supposed to get the documents from?
She's doing a lot of playing with semantics here, which might have just delayed things and allowed her to respond to this. But this is really goofy. To be like, yeah, I don't know what she thinks this is going to accomplish.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of excuses at this point. If she doesn't have the documents, who's gonna have the documents? If she can log on to these accounts, she can just print it out. Like, why are you screenshotting stuff? And then she's saying that she was barely able to get it into a PDF. Like, she's a millennial at the oldest. She should know how to work a phone and work a computer and print out documents and print to PDF. It's very easy to do. Printing to
and
PDF.
Even if she doesn't, it's not like she doesn't have money to hire somebody. If like she can't ask a friend for help, or she doesn't have lawyers. Or
yeah, she has lawyers. I mean, she literally has lawyers.
Who put this in a document as a response? I couldn't work the PDF.
Oh. Yeah, and this is her attorney saying they didn't know how to get the PDFs. Like, you're a civil attorney, you know how to produce evidence.
That's just really like as bad as saying. That's like as bad. It's really on the level of being like, it's on my computer, but I don't have the charger and it's dead. Like that. It's just as goofy as that. That is so silly.
Go charge it. Yeah, so those were their excuses, but the plaintiffs nonetheless agreed to allow them some extra time. And then they said that they can produce it by July 25th. Initially, they asked for it to be produced by July 11th, which didn't happen, or that they said they couldn't do it by the 11th. So the plaintiffs agreed to give them till July 25th. And then here it is. This email follows our recent call wherein you confirmed that the client's intention is to provide complete responses to everything the state has asked for. I agreed to extend the deadline to respond to July 25th, 2022 as requested. Okay, so they have given them more time to respond, right?
Yep.
Let's see what else happens. Sorry if I'm making y'all dizzy by scrolling fast. Okay, now we are looking, what date is it? We are on July 26th, so the day after they were supposed to respond. The plaintiffs then have to email Mr. McLean again, saying yesterday was the deadline to respond or amend the defendant's discovery responses. We did not receive any responses. I will be filing a motion to compel answers to interrogatories that were not answered properly and responses to requests for production that were improperly withheld. So they asked for a deadline of July 25th, and they still did not meet that deadline. So it's all fun and games for them at this point. I think that is all that I need out of this document. So like I said, I'm sorry if I'm making y'all dizzy, but I think that's all. Let's see. I guess I could take it off the screen and not make y'all dizzy. Let's see. What else did they have?
It's not that dizzy.
Okay. All right. Okay, no, we got some more on this one. All right. So this time she did expand on some of her answers. So we're going to just talk on some of those ones. Let's see. She actually answered what her plans are instead of telling us, go look at the documents that I gave you. She had a plan for macro consult and adjustment, macro and fitness plan, bridal program, macros and workout plan, an ebook, meal and fitness plan, New York challenge, a summer challenge. And I think that's it. Oh, snap. Why did that do that? Okay, whatever. Let's see. Where am I at? All right. So then they asked about, let's see, identify the services offered to the plans. So she actually answers, these are the services. The plans which were provided to customers were described as personal or individual. Personal and individual did not indicate that the information was to be strictly followed, nor did it mean that the plan was tailor-made for each customer. What does that even mean? Personalized and individual does not mean that it was tailor-made for each customer.
Semantics.
How
Not even
are you going to spin that? She's acting like she doesn't understand words, like freaking Amber Heard in the Johnny Depp trial.
I mean, she's playing games. I don't know if this is just a delay tactic or if she genuinely thinks this is going to work. Because she has to know this is not like sufficient, that these responses are really goofy and pretty arrogant too. Go check the document.
Right. For each customer, instructions were provided that indicated that their plan was subject to their goals, which a personalized, individualized plan should be tailor-made to each person, just saying, if it's going towards their goals. Customers were also encouraged to consult with websites such as My Macros and MyFitnessPal. So what did you sell them? Customers were further instructed that it was not required to hit macros on the spot, that their diet was flexible, that meal frequency and size were up to them, and that check-ins were their responsibility, not mine.
Wow.
The same applies to workout plans.
Wow.
It's their responsibility. If they didn't get what I told them they were going to get, it's their fault, not my fault.
That's not how that works, though. Anytime I've worked with a trainer who says they're going to check in, I don't have to track them down. They check in with me. That's not how that works.
Or you set up a time, or you send them a link for them to set up a time, anything. But no, she's not. Wow. They said they asked for the total number of customers who purchased each plan as identified in the response. She said this answer will be supplemented with a list of names and dates. So still not giving us anything. Now we're going to get into her definition of personalized macros. She says, see response to request for production. Personal macros refer to a suggested starting point for macros. Customers were instructed that meal frequency and size was up to you, in quotation marks. So again, admitting that she did not give them personalized macros. And it's not what she understood it to be. It's what would a reasonable person understand that to be. Personal macros. Right. It sounds like you're going to give me a personal plan. Otherwise, I wouldn't pay you $92. I would pay you $10 if you just had like a generic plan. I might pay you $10, but why the heck would I pay you $90 for a plan that is supposed to be personalized, but you don't personalize it?
Right. 10, 15, 20, not 92 for a generic copy and paste.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense. Or saying, oh, follow my fitness plan. Sure, I'll pay you $10 for that. But not, oh, you're going to personalize it to me, that justifies the higher price. But she's saying that's not what she meant, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let's see. Number 9, identify which, if any, customers receive the promised personalized macronutrition calculation or adjustment. She said each consumer received their personalized macronutrition calculations or adjustments. So remember earlier where you were saying, oh, she said she answered the question. This time, she actually include the personalized in there, basically saying that they should have understood that she didn't really mean personalized to them, but that they all received their plan.
Oh, so she gaslighting people too now. Okay, cool.
Oh
cool,
yeah,
cool, cool.
she is for sure.
Cool,
Regarding all consumers, let's see who got their check-ins. Her answer to the check-ins is customers were instructed that check-ins are your responsibility, not mine. That's ridiculous.
Okay,
like,
but
how are they supposed to set up the check-in?
Right. I was just gonna say, one, if that's true. Well, I've got a question for you. One, if that's true, does she have proof of that? Does she have receipts saying that she told people that that was her check-in? Because I think a reasonable person would assume that she's going to do the checking in. So I would hope she
check-in.
Because it's check-in. That's how check-ins work, right? So I would assume she has receipts. I'm assuming she doesn't have receipts for that, but I would hope she does. And then 2, does that work? If let's say she does have receipts and say, I told them that they have to initiate the check-ins. Is that enough to cover her on that part?
No, because the thing is, in her contract, when they signed up, it would say like check-ins are up to you to schedule, but you have to give them a reasonable method to schedule the check-ins with you. When the state has already alleged that whenever they responded to Brittany, they just responded with, hey, you go, girl. Like, even when people did reach out to them to check in, they still did not get the answer that they wanted.
Right.
So no, I don't think that it will cover them. I think they will have enough evidence to show like, hey, we did try to check in. We still didn't get what we asked for.
And what about adjustments? Does anybody, I don't know if anybody in the chat knows, did people actually get adjustments? I never heard about anybody getting anything beyond the initial, here's your plan and some you go girls. Like, did anybody like get, because if she wasn't doing the check-ins, then how did she know when things needed to be adjusted or when things weren't working or when somebody who's not trying to lose that much weight has a plan that says you eat 200 calories a day and they're like, this is not right? Did she actually adjust anybody's plan?
Well, she would have to find those people that she did actually adjust, but under the state's petition, their complaint, no, she was not doing the adjustments. Even when people asked, I think one lady said she passed out or she almost passed out, and she reached out to Brittany multiple times. And then she responded maybe like 5 or so emails later saying, oh, why didn't you tell me that you almost passed out? Why didn't you start with that? But she's like, I reached out to her several times. So she would need to go and show, hey, look, I did these adjustments. But there are witnesses that are saying, no, I reached out to her several times and she never adjusted it for me. So
why is she not settling? I mean, thank you for my entertainment. It sucks for the people on the other end, the victims. I don't understand why she's not settling. This is wild to me.
Yeah, and I imagine the plaintiffs.
I was gonna say, I imagine the reason she's the only witness is because she can't get anybody to lie for her.
Right. Right. And so the reason why there's no settlement is because the plaintiffs will have to agree to the settlement. And probably whatever she's willing to agree to is not enough to compensate the consumers that were victimized in the situation.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think about that. That's true.
It also says instructions for check-ins were provided to each customer. Okay, so she might have saved her butt a little bit there. Maybe a little bit.
The customer, proof.
Yeah. I think it will probably be in an email that she sends out that we can see, and hopefully it's not a counterfeit email. The customer who's followed these instructions received their check-ins. Further, see responses to request for production number 3. I would love to see that. They didn't give us all the documents in the request for production, but I would love to see who checked in and how they received their check-in. Were the Hey Girls part of the check-ins? Let's see. Regarding all the consumers identified in number 5, indicate which consumers you issued full or partial refund for in response to the complaints about your services. She says, see the document, other documents in response to this request for production number 3. The answer will be supplemented with a list of names. So she basically halfway, or not halfway, answered the question. Basically, it was like, I'll get back to you later. Yeah. Identify the consumers who did not receive personalized macros. What do you think she said? Each consumer received their calculations and adjustments. She finally gave us some names. Identify the consumers who did not receive fitness coaching via check-in emails or text messages through the 30 days. Daria, last name I don't know, Natalie Broadbent, Vanessa Hernandez complained of not receiving coaching, but she's not admitting that they didn't. Right. All other customers received coaching if their plan called for it and they followed plan instruction. This answer will be supplemented upon discovery of others. So again, she's still saying that everyone received it other than those 3 people that complained of it, but they just complained of it. It's ridiculous. What else she asked? Identify the consumers you allege the accord and satisfaction who didn't have it. She says, see the responses in the production of documents, which is fine. What else she says? Again, about the shipping costs, she says she does not know of any shipping costs. So with that, I guess she actually provided documents, but they don't show us the documents. So I'm going to stop right there as far as that document goes. That was a lot of documents saying. But yeah, so those were her answers. I definitely understand why the state brought the motion to compel and why they brought the motion for sanctions, because she basically just didn't answer the questions at all. Or said, you're completely wrong. They all received this stuff, basically that this lawsuit is false. They're lying on me.
If that was the case, then she would have just provided receipts so fast and had this shut down.
Yeah, that is true.
Because she can't access her PayPal account. Yeah,
she can't access that. She can't access her list of customers. Everybody was satisfied with her services, but somehow we're here in court because people are not satisfied with your services.
Right. Right.
All right. And then I know you said you had to go. So did you have any final words you would like to say to the stream?
Nah. Thanks. This was great. I caught up on the first 2. Girardi, I hadn't heard about that case in a while, so that was wild. There's a lot going on there, and I would love to see some, like, be a fly on the wall for a lot of conversations, because a lot of it feels so false and manipulated and calculating and stuff. So that was interesting there. Brittany Dawn, this is gonna be a hot mess and show, and most of me is like, oh, this is going to be entertaining. But then I do feel bad for the people who were taken, especially the people who were harmed in the process, right? So, like, part of me wishes she would just, like, settle and be done with it. Part of me is like, ooh, entertainment. But I do hope that the people who were harmed, again, this is where restorative justice would be amazing, because I hope the people that were harmed can be amended in some way, that she's forced to make amends in some way. No, money can only do so much, but it does help, so let's see that. And
that is true. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Definitely enjoy your opinions, your conversation here, and hopefully you will be joining next time we do this. We're trying to do it once a month, so hopefully the date we pick next time you can also join.
For sure. All right, thanks, Bri. Appreciate y'all.
No problem. Have a good day.
All right.
Bye. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? We have a response from Brittany about her answer to the allegations against her in the complaint that we just went through. All right, but before that, I am going to check out some of the comments because we've been reading for a while. Okay, witness says, the belligerent client, I do feel bad for any person who has to work with her. And sometimes it is the client. Like, you can ask the client 1,000,000 times for something, and they're like, no, I don't have that. I don't have that. Why do they need that? I don't know how to do it. So I definitely understand the attorney kind of putting some of the blame on their own client, but they also have to kind of push their client to get them the proper documents. Lisa McKay says, McKay says, I can't believe an attorney would make this argument because it's a wordplay and distraction, and I'm misunderstanding. I don't know exactly which one you're referring to, but yes, they are kind of just putting things out there and saying, no, there's no issues here. There's no issues here. Witness says she just gave zero backup. Yeah, nothing to support her claims. Tanya D says, I would have been popped in the mouth for talking like that to my mom. I don't know. Wait, which part of it? Lambebe says, probably because she has no legal argument to make, so probably trying to confuse everyone. Yeah, that's what we're leaning towards, or just trying to delay it because actually they're supposed to go to trial, but apparently they have not mediated yet. I don't know if they've done it now for this new March hearing that they were supposed to have, but back in February, they kind of got in trouble with the judge for not having already mediated this case to see if they could come to a settlement. So I'm finding it more to be a delay tactic and to kind of for the state not to want to go forward because they don't have enough information from her. But that's where subpoenas come into play. Witness says, I'm here for the hot mess, right? Right. Lisa says, Brittany Dawn is lucky she didn't kill someone. Yeah, well, because people were starving trying to follow her plan. So, yeah, you're right about that. Everyone saying thank you to Hella Swanky. Yes, it was a great time. Hello, Swanky says, I can still be here in the chat for a little bit, but gotta show my face in another virtual meeting. Well, thank you again for joining, and hopefully we get some more comments in from you. Lom Bebe says, it's the throw pasta at the wall and see what sticks method. As far as her arguments as to why she's not producing everything, the thing is, like, she seems to be completely delusional by saying that everyone got what they were promised. But then why are people complaining? And I guess you can be an influencer that everybody hates on, but who has time? Like, I wonder if that's going to be her argument. These people are just haters. I'm wondering if that's going to be her argument. All right, let's see. Tanya D says, all of it, she's real flippant. Yeah, so I don't know what angle she's going for here. But hopefully we can figure it out in her response. She has a response for us. So let's check it out. All right. This is Brittany Dawn's response to the motion to compel. They say on April 7th, that's when they were served the documents. On June 22nd, the plaintiffs requested I think they mean that they requested an extension for response time for the production to May 27th. Defendant agreed to extend the time, but only till Friday. I feel like that's backwards. Am I reading the right document? They should have been the one asking for an extension. Let's see. Yeah, they should have been the one asking for an extension. So I'm just going to skip that. Okay. Oh. Why are they talking about... Why are they... Oh, did they write this backward? Why are they saying that the defendant... They're referring to themselves as... Oh, they're referring to themselves as the defendants. I don't know why I just confused myself there. Okay, back on track. So they basically asked for an extension. I don't know why I confused myself. But they asked for an extension. They did not comply with the extension. Plaintiff and defendants have exchanged emails. Defendants stated on July 26th that they were willing to make defendants' computer available to plaintiffs so plaintiffs could see the difficulty in obtaining the documents. It's not their responsibility to get your client's discovery over to them. Why is it so hard? Everything's on the computer. Like, it's not that hard to have files on the computer turned into a PDF. I don't know. Are her attorneys like old and don't know how to work the computer? Defendant served the defendant's second amended answers on the interrogatories on September 7th. To date, defendants have produced all documents in their possession, which are responsive to plaintiff's production requests. Defendants have produced more than 52,700 pages of documents dating back to 2013. But they're probably not even in order, but that's okay. And they're cut off. Some of them are cut off, so that's a problem. Plaintiff's request is that this court order that within 10 days of this order, defendant shall answer under oath all interrogatories and plaintiff's first set of interrogatories and shall produce all documents requests for this production. Defendants request that this court deny the request for the following reason. So this is her argument as to why she should not have to produce further discovery. Prior to the filing of this case, plaintiffs identified a number of parties who had filed complaints against defendants. This list included approximately 240 customers. Defendants initially objected to interrogatories that would require defendant to produce information for each and every customer since 2013. So basically, they're asking me for too much. That's your argument? Okay, let's go on. Plaintiffs state that in their motion that defendants are in the best position to identify customer names responsive to their interrogatories. This is not the case. All documents that defendants possess have been produced to plaintiff. So now we don't have the documents. Further, in order to fully answer interrogatory number 5D and number 7 requires that defendants review the more than 52,700 pages of documents dating back to 2013 and look for names and other information for customers. No customer list exists. Defendants are looking page by page at documents which are in plaintiff's possession in order to provide an answer to interrogatories 5D and number 7. This is something that plaintiffs could do for themselves. Indeed, plaintiffs are likely to better equipped to task than the plaintiffs. Okay, well, if that's the case, I guess that's why they sent them all the documents. But now the plaintiffs will have to sort through all the documents and figure out which document is. So I get their argument on that. Like, they don't want to spend the money and time looking through it. But it's your client and you should be trying to prove her case and not providing the plaintiffs with unnecessary documents, making it more burdensome on them. Defendants wish to move this matter forward. Therefore, defendants have been reviewing these documents page by page, as you should, and thus far have provided the requested information for roughly 1,500 customers. This effort has taken many weeks, as you should. You were retained to be the attorney in this case. If the court does grant plaintiff's motion, defendants request that much more than 10 days be allowed to go through all of the documents. And that's pretty much. Basically, she doesn't have the information. If she does have the information, she doesn't feel like going through it. It's not good excuses. Not good excuses at all. Let's see what the peeps are saying. Everyone's saying great to see. Hella swanky. Ticum says, this is a great format, by the way, getting people from the chat to participate on the live and give commentary. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you like it. It's something that we're trying to do every month, so hopefully it will continue to happen. Jane Soder says, I hope this spills over to her current grift. Hey, she's going to continue to grift, apparently. No, she's no longer a fitness influencer. She's apparently a Christian influencer now and potentially a mommy vlogger too with the foster kids that she fosters. Witness says, did she miss a deadline or something? Yes, she missed several deadlines. She missed deadlines on multiple occasions. She requested an extension, which she was granted. She still missed that deadline. And then they asked for her to turn in document, or she suggested a new deadline, which she then again missed. So yes, she did miss deadlines several times. Tanya D says, so she can't get the info, but wants them to do it. Yeah, basically. And I actually have Tanya D in the bag. So let me get you on the stream. Hi, how are you today?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I'm using some new headphones. I just had to come on. I know we at the end of the stream, but this girl, I'm just gonna say God don't like ugly, okay?
Right.
But yeah, the way I was raised, I would have got backhanded for all that. Just look at the document. I don't know. I don't have it. No, ma'am. No,
well,
ma'am,
I was reading it like that. I was reading it like that, but she said it in a professional way. Oh, okay. I
but that's what it said. That's exactly what it said. And I don't see a judge taking too kindly to that at all.
Right. Well, actually, the judge is not that against her from what I'm finding in the orders. They're basically saying she doesn't have to continue to produce the documents, but whatever she has not produced, and if she wants to use it in trial, she just cannot use it. So it's not completely against her. I think the plaintiffs actually asked for her not to testify, which I think would make sense. Since you didn't give us the documents that we're asking for, you don't get to testify and try to explain things away. Not that anyone will probably believe her explanation. She just told us that personalized and individualized does not mean that it's tailored to you. So what does it mean, right? So I don't even know if her testifying will even benefit her at all. So
well, generally it doesn't, but I don't know. But didn't you say on the stream the other day that they're not saying she can't continue to do something like this?
Yeah, so that is part of it. They're just saying if she's not going to provide the proper document, or if she's not going to provide the proper services, then she should not be able to do it. But if she does start giving individualized plans, if she does start doing the coaching, then she can continue this fitness business that she has. I think they should just ask for her not to do it at all. But that's not what they asked for. They asked for her just not to do it in the way that she did it before. Provide them with the things that you're actually offering. So I don't see any punishment in what she did.
So I'll ask again. I asked in the chat, why is she getting so much leeway?
As far as in the court
all
case,
of it,
or just...
all of it. They haven't subpoenaed anything. Pretty much. Oh, I don't have the information. Okay, that's okay. Well, just don't do it again. You can still do this. I'm confused. I need answers.
Right. And so remember, this is the state bringing it on behalf of consumers. So their real goal is to get the consumers paid. But it almost seems like, and I don't know, maybe some things are different in Texas because I'm not Texas licensed. It almost seems like they want her to still be able to do businesses, but to do it in the proper way. Which just doesn't sound reasonable to me. I feel like they should shut her down. You're talking about $5 million that she made, and she's not even providing them the proper information. She's saying that personalized does not mean tailored to you. It's a bunch of fluff, as she said, or puff. I think a bunch of puffing. But it's not proper business. And I don't know why the state is going so soft on her. I don't know like what their protocol. No, they subpoenaed other stuff. So they should be able to subpoena records. They subpoenaed people to testify. So they should be able to subpoena business records from PayPal.
Right. And $5 million. How much do we know how much it was for each plan?
Each plan. So they started at $92 and went all the way up to $300. And I actually have a list of kind of what people were paying. So we're going to look at that in just a moment.
Okay. So pretty much she made $5 million and she said 3 people didn't get their plan.
And then turned around. Not only did she do that, she said 3 people complained of not getting their plan, but then goes in her answer for the motion to compel and say, well, they said only 240 people complained. So you're admitting that more people complain, but you're pretending like you don't. So let's see.
Okay, keep going.
All right, let's see what we have here. We got a little chart here. Let's see if I understand it perfectly. All right, so the defendants have identified only 1,638 customers. The plaintiff have identified an additional 575. So 35% increase. So basically, they're not disclosing everyone that they know exists. So they told them about these people, but the plaintiffs were able to find additional people. So that tends to show that they're lying or they're hiding stuff. So not the best. Not the best. She's not looking the best at this point. All right. And then we have the consumer payments defendants identified was $169,736. Deposits to PayPal business account was 61,727. That is an 89% increase. So she didn't report over almost $1,400,000. So she's just coming off as a liar by the way that she's producing the documents. Let's see what else they have. They got all kinds of charts that I missed earlier when I was looking at this.
She should have called Alec Murdaugh.
At this point, right? All right. And then so for number 9, she said no, none of the customers defendants identified as having received personalized macronutrition calculations or adjustments were all of those 1,625,000. And then it says number of consumers defendants produced documents relating to any macronutrition calculations or adjustment was 103. Wow. So she said everyone received the documents, but she only produced 103 people. So they're just basically pointing out where they went through the documents. They said, hey, plaintiffs can go through the documents themselves. They can figure it out. And they did. They figured out that she was lying. So we have number of consumers ascertained from the spreadsheet and documents, 2,273. And the number of consumers the defendants produced documents for that relate to the check-in coachings was 156. So 7% of the number that plaintiffs were able to sort through and find themselves. So I don't think it would have been a good idea for them to let the plaintiff see their computer, because they probably would have found so much more. All right. And I'm getting a little bit of static from you, Tanya. So if you want to mute and then just turn your mic on when you talk, that might help a little bit. Thank you. And this is what they're requesting as far as her not complying with discovery, because this is the request for sanctions. They say plaintiffs request the matters regarding which the discovery order was made to be taken as established for the purpose of the action. The requested discovery would prove that defendants violated the DTPA and establish the scope of these violations. Plaintiff requests an order precluding defendant from opposing the plaintiff's designated claims or precluding defendant from introducing designated matters as evidence pursuant to the rule. Defendants have failed to produce an accurate or reliable client list, like literally missing thousands of clients' information. And saying that they only found 1,500 when the plaintiffs were able to find over 2,000 when they did the search. Where are we at? No reliable client list, nor an accurate or reliable indication of the amount those clients paid for services, nor the customized macronutrient information or coaching correspondence for nearly all her former clients. Defendant should not be permitted to testify at trial, nor otherwise introduce any evidence that would claim she did provide the coaching or customized macronutrient assessment for her client when defendants failed to respond to proper discovery requests and failed to comply with the court's order to turn over that material. Yeah, and she was ordered by the court to turn over that information. These sanctions are no more severe than necessary to promote the fair adjudication of this case and full compliance with proper discovery requests. Sanctioning defendants is just and would demonstrate that the party may not obscure the truth and benefit thereby through a failure of honesty and fully respond to discovery. Plaintiff's request for attorney's fees and expenses in preparing, filing, and appearing on motions for discovery sanctions to obtain relief pursuant the rule, and request additional sanctions as the court deems necessary and proper. So they didn't necessarily ask for a specified money amount, but they are asking for some money for what was here. I wanted to go through this one, but it may just be, let me see, why did I want to go through this? It just goes over how they failed to respond to stuff, which we have already gone over, so we can skip over that. we'll skip over that because we kind of already went over a lot of that information. But I do want to show you guys the list of monies that I was talking about earlier. What's that chart? Oh, those are just emails. Let's see. I got to scroll all the way down. So let me go back to the, here we are. All right. Let's see where we're at. Lisa McKay says, Boss Attorney Bree, thank you for doing this. It's great to talk about this with you in the chat. My family isn't interested in law. Well, I am happy that you were able to join us and that the cases were interesting. I had a good time today. Everything was more interesting than I originally anticipated. Let me see. I'm just scrolling through here trying to find those numbers for you guys to show. Let's see how much everybody was paying for these plans. Maybe I should just scroll like this. They reintroduced the discovery. Okay, here we are. Some numbers for you. All right, let's share it. Here we are. All right. And so these are, I thought these ones had the numbers. Maybe not. This is the customer list. Okay, we're not quite at the amounts that they paid yet. So let me scroll some more because I am not there. Where did it go? Oh, here they are, actually. Maybe I'm misreading it. All right. So we have people paying, and I'll zoom this in to make it bigger for everybody. All right. So these are the prices. Okay, so I guess they have some lower prices, but I also think they have like cookbooks and things on there as well. So we have people paying $85. There's a $10 for a food list. $85 for a 30-day plan. Somebody paid $40 for a 30-day plan. So I'm wondering if there was like a sale that went on. Somebody paid $35. Why are all the prices different for the same thing? Bikini prep is $115. $2,000, 2013 bikini prep. Yeah, it looks like she did a couple of discounts, but lowest workout plan that I've seen so far is $35. Bikini prep again, 30 days. So sometimes she did discounts, it looks like, which is fine, right? There's an October challenge where she did a discount for $10 apparently, and a lot of people participated in that. Let's see, more $10 stuff. And they said that the PayPal account only said 1 million, but I'm not sure if that was just throughout her lifetime of doing this or if this was for everything. So prices vary from $10. I haven't seen any $300 yet, but I think on the website they did sell some stuff for $300, but I haven't seen that yet. Now I'm sorry, I'm scrolling quick because I'm trying to find it for y'all. 120, I think that's the highest one that I've seen so far. And it's still for a 30 days. So whatever happened in 2014, she decided that her program was not only worth $80 anymore. It's now worth $120. So her prices are going up.
Go back up. I saw something for $225, I think.
Oh, you did? Oh, there it is.
On that page.
Mm-hmm. All right. It was a 90-day workout plan. So, and I think at some point, probably closer to now in time, it went up to about $300. So yeah, the 90-day workout plan was $225. They put the 30-day one up to $120. I'm like, where is she coming up with these prices? Or unless she just does like a lot of sales. That's what I feel like, that she's doing a lot of sales. There's another $225. And that's in 2014. Let's see if the prices go up even more. Let's see. No, they stay pretty consistent. I'm thinking maybe the $300 prices were closer to when they were getting ready to bring this lawsuit. Sorry, y'all, I'm scrolling fast. I'm like making myself dizzy, so I'm hoping I'm not making the chat dizzy here. Then she has the macro and training plan. So she sold these programs. Okay, and then it jumps from 2013. Do you see that? It's like 2013, and then it goes to 2016. So I feel like there's some missing information there. And then none of these people asked for a refund. So she's basically trying to show that, no, everyone was satisfied with the products that I gave them. That's what I'm interpreting that as.
Look, let me tell you, I literally just did my fraud, waste, and abuse training yesterday. And one of the red flags was dates out of order.
Oh, well, we got some dates out of order right now. 2013, we saw 2014 earlier. I have not seen a 2015, but I was scrolling fast. But to jump from 2013 to 2016, it sounds like it may be a manufactured list here. And if people are signing up online, how are you not collecting their phone numbers? I don't know. These systems, I feel like they automatically collect. You have to put in like your phone number, your name, your address, and things like that. Especially when you're paying with credit card. Maybe not your phone number. When you're paying with credit card, I don't know. Price is now going up to $260 for the 90-day plan. All right, so price is going up in 2016. This is a lot of people that believed her, and now they're selling t-shirts. They are now selling. Yeah, this looks hand manufactured. This does not look like a printout from like because like if you're using like an online store, you should be able to like export the transaction, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure most online stores do that. So she's telling us that she kept this by hand for everybody that purchased from her. I don't know if I believe that. I feel like this list, and this is just me speculating, I feel like this list is kind of made up. Hence why she gave them that she only made $169,000, but the PayPal account shows $1,500,000 plus. Let's see what else. We're up to $280 for the 90-day plan. And so these are just like some of the numbers. I don't know if we'll find the 300, but let's see. Now we're in 2014 again.
I saw 520 for
you did?
a 6-month plan.
Okay. That would make sense. Did I see it? It's probably the 6-month plan. I'm not going to try to find it right now just because it's a lot of these transactions. And to say that you were not trying to do the personalized plans, like why are all these people buying this? Oh, here we are, $520 for the 6-month plan. You were right. This one is in parentheses as discounted, so I don't know if the other ones were discounted. But if she's keeping this by hand, she can literally put whatever the heck she wants. Okay, now we are finally in 2017. That jumped from 2014 to 2016 to 2017. I'm guessing she didn't do anything in 2015. We're now charging upwards. We're closer to that. Okay, here we go. 90-day is now at $300. So she made a lot of money. She made a lot of money here. And then this was the other. Oh, wait. There was another document that I wanted to show y'all right here, I think. Let's see. This was the account for money. Oh, no, it wasn't. This was a registration of something else. There was an account for money that I want. Oh, here we go. I think this is it. Nope, this is not it. Okay, where are you at, money? Okay, and she also got gifts from her supporters, I guess. And then here we are with the money. So she had, oh no, I just really lost that page. Where'd it go? Come on. I just lost it. Oh my, where did you go? Try to find it. Okay, here it is. Okay. I didn't lose it. Too bad. Okay, here we go. She's showing an amount sent of $124,000 as the primary, and then the amount received is $1,561,727. But she reported to the plaintiffs that she only received like $169,000 and some odd dollars. So everything that she produced, like the plaintiff said, I don't think it's reliable. I think they were completely in their right to say what she's producing is not reliable. So I don't know if you have any comments on that, Tanya, but I'm about to hop in the chat unless you got something you wanted to add.
Nope, not really. I wouldn't rely on it either because it's all over the place. Maybe it doesn't look like it was 2015. Maybe she took a break, but came back with merch and different plans and the bridal plan and all of that. But yeah, go ahead, hop in the chat, cause
yeah, and I think at some point she did close down the website, so maybe that was in 2015 because people were complaining. So at some point she did close it down. It may have been during that time, but I don't know.
So she closed it and then came back.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And said she was gonna improve things, but she really just didn't. But I'll have to double check to see when that time was.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna need some PayPal records.
Yeah, and even this bank account, I read somewhere that it was 5 million that she made, but this one is showing at least 1,500,000, which is a lot of money. And that's what, over 4 years or so? Yeah, selling fitness plans that are not personalized. Ari says, I thought she only made 1.5 million. Let me get on this script. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought I read that she made 5 million somewhere. But maybe it is only 1.5. Lisa MK says, does she think the court is stupid? I don't know. Rotten Ralph says, are they giving her enough rope to hang herself? Is she giving herself enough rope to hang herself? And the thing is, the state is calling her out. Like, the documents you produce are not even accurate to your answers. It's ridiculous. Ari says, question, can the plaintiffs bring up Brittany Dawn's discovery shadiness during the trial? Yes. The discovery is under penalty of perjury. That's the point of the discovery. Or it's not the point of the discovery, but she can't produce something and then say, oh, well, that's not accurate because, it's not under penalty of perjury. They can bring up her responses and show the shadiness to the jury. And ask her, why did she answer like this? Why was it missing information? So, yeah. Lisa says to me, is this a class action lawsuit? Can they do a criminal case? So this is a case by the state, and they're basically acting for the consumers, but it's not necessarily a class action. It's a consumer protection action. So each of the individuals are not technically plaintiffs to the case. It's just the state that's the plaintiff. Tanya says, conclusion and prayer, what a joke. Well, she is a Christian influencer now, so hey. A witness says may have been the people who paid via PayPal only. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. This seems like it's just one account. I don't think this is all of her accounts. So, and then it's so like, it literally goes from gift given, home or work. Like, what is this? Look at this. Gift given, home or work, random dates, right? And then it just gives us this bank account. And so is this just the bank account from 2013? I don't know. I don't know if this, because it's like on a page with something else. Let's see. Just says month. It looks like something she drafted herself. Like, literally, look at it. It's like month 1, month 2. What is month 1? What's month 2? What year are we in? It literally looks like something she drafted herself. Nothing for that. But I feel like this is just one. Yeah, it says bank account status. I feel like this is just one account. I don't know. I am a bit confused. Let's see. Why is this not scrolling? It's not scrolling on the actual page. It's only scrolling on StreamYard for me. So, yeah, I don't know. Cynthia CM says, let's see. She only money grabbed. How was she supposed to personalize this? LOL. Yeah, she told us that that's not what she meant by personalized. That one I'm not going to get over. Like, how dare you guys expect that you're going to get an individualized plan when I said you were going to get an individualized plan? When it says no. Cynthia CM says $300. Yeah, for her 90-day plan. So 3 months. Kimmy Locker became a new member of the channel. Welcome to the BriHive membership. You now get a cool little badge next to your name, cool little emojis that you can use. And on our monthly live streams, you can come and join the fun with us and talk about some of these crazy cases. So thank you for becoming a new member. I am happy that you're here. And it looks like we got another member. Tanya is in the chat and on live. I love it. Ari says, then she reactivated her fitness webpage to get a forgiven PPP loan. Wow. And I'm wondering if that was because PPP loan would have been around 2020. Oh, so you're saying she reactivated it even though these documents only show to like 2017? She basically revamped the business in 2020. Is that what you're saying? Kimmy Locker, our new member to the channel, saying, what the heck? I could have sworn I was an official member of the BriHive already, but I'm so happy to be here. Well, welcome back. Sometimes it cancels, or like if you don't have it on auto renew, it won't renew. So maybe that's what happened to you. And then we have Angie becoming a new member of the channel. Thank you so much for supporting the BriHive, and welcome to the BriHive membership. And then Tanya D also saying welcome in the chat. Love to see it. All right. So I think that's all we have for the chat. As far as the case go, I think she is ridiculous. Like absolutely ridiculous. I don't see how she can give answer. Well, I can see how she did it, but she gave answers that weren't really accurate. And then they said that the plaintiff should go through the paperwork themselves. They did go through the paperwork themselves and then found that they were lying. I think that's crazy. I think that's absolutely crazy. Tanya, did you have any thoughts about that?
No, like you said, it's crazy. But I'm going to drop off so you can go ahead and end it. But I had to come on and just give my thoughts on Miss Brittany Dawn.
Yes, well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for always supporting the channel. And I hope to see you next time we do this next month.
Yes, and I hope to see more faces next time too.
Yes,
I wasn't going to come on. I was going to let other people come on today. But since everybody else dropped off, I decided to jump in.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining in. I always appreciate the support from you.
All right, bye.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good day. All righty, let's see. We're going to go through a little bit more chats and then we'll probably get on out of here. Thank you everyone for coming and spending time with me this Saturday. This was a great stream. I had a good time. So let's see here. Rebel J Fire saying, whoa, wow, that's so fraud. And continuing to do the fraudulent things during the lawsuit. That's what's crazy to me. Hello Swinky says, to become an official member of the BriHive, hit the join button and drop the link for you guys. If you want to become a member, let me check out these likes. Let's see. Oh, we beat it. We beat 100 likes in a live stream. I love when we can get to 100 likes in the live stream. That is always an accomplishment for me. So thank you everyone that has liked the stream. If you have not liked the stream, please do so. It definitely helps and supports this channel. And then we get new friends and we have good conversations in the chat. But yes, thank you everyone that joined me this Saturday. I have a couple more chats and then I'll let you guys have your day. Ari says, yes, so shading. If there are any criminal charges, they'll be from the IRS. So is she reporting her taxes? Those are questions that need answers too. Everyone saying thank you to Tanya D. Thank you so much for hopping on for sure. I definitely appreciate the commentary. Hello, Swanky says, so glad you got to hop on. Me too. Me too. Tanya D says, glad to hop on. Thank you. Lisa McKay says, thanks everyone. This was fantastic. Well, yes, it was fantastic. Yes, thank you everyone for joining me this Saturday. I hope to continue to do more of these each month. We always get really good insight from our members. I love reading the chats, but it's a definitely a different vibe when I can actually see and speak to everyone and get everyone's comments live. It also gives me a break from talking too much. So I definitely appreciate when you guys hop on. If you have not already, please hit the like button to help us out in the algorithm. We beat 100 likes this stream, so I'm super happy for that. If you are not subscribed and you have made it this far, please just hit the subscribe button because you have made it through a 3-hour live stream and it definitely helps out the channel. We are on the way to 50K this year. So December 2023, we hope to be at 50K. We just went over the 11,900 mark. So I'm super happy about that. And I'm super happy about everyone that comes and support the channel on a daily basis. I hope everyone has a good rest of your weekend. Have a good Saturday night. I appreciate you all so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next live stream, and that will be on Tuesday.